lost in my reflection. Pay attention. You never will. I will overanalyze and fall victim. But when I'm lowest, time to get to know myself. I'm still tangled, I'm not worried, 'cause I am caught up in this perfection. Pay attention, yeah, you never will. 'Cause you depend, so you always will. If you arrest yourself again, I'll help you clean up the mess. I wonder if you ever did, yeah. I wonder if you ever did like I did. I wonder if you ever did, yeah. I wonder if you ever did like I did. Just wanna be free, yeah. Free, yeah. Free, yeah. Paint away day and night, 6 hearts, hope I'm okay. You're alright, goodbye then if you dare. Someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let them. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in panic. Yeah. After you, I'm afraid of feeling some too soon. Cling to what you're giving. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Yeah. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Yo, yo, yo. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. Nothing is what I think. Yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause I will drown in pink. Yo, yo. What's up? Oh, yeah. Dude, Friday night. Dude, let's go. Magnolia Girl, thank you. Hey, I just want to change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't want to hang around. I'd rather be found. It gets better. I wonder my pleasure. Together, everyone's waiting. Dude, Trump. Oh my God, what a meltdown. And then, dude, wait till you hear about the Ohio mayor. Oh shit. Bro, MAGA freaking out. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Oh, let's go. Dude, we're going to save that for later, right? Ooh, that's a good one. Cut it off. Always leave them wanting more. That's what they say in the industry. Dude, how we doing? Oh, shit, boss. Friday night, bro. I am a sexy beast. I am a sexy beast. I have my moments. Dude, I'm an old beast. GG's. Dude, what a day, bro. Like, pretty. Hold on. We got water. Get a little eucalyptus going. Fucking. All right. Dude, how we doing? I feel like today was actually a pretty special day, believe it or not, guys. All right. Dude, Elite, yo! Dude, I am thinking strongly about playing some Fortnite tomorrow, Elite. Just FYI, right? I'm going to try and make time for it during the day, dude. If you're around, let's fucking go, baby. 7 months. Dude, 𝗙𝗃𝗏, let's go. Daytime, yes. Yes, it's going to be during the day. It'll probably be somewhere around, oh, you're home all day? Good. Good. It'll probably be, I'm guessing, because you're East Coast time, I'm guessing it'll be around 4 o'clock your time, right? Making me pull out the essential oils. Let's go. Dude, I have a bunch of essential oils. I have some patchouli. I got some cedarwood. I got eucalyptus. I got some peppermint oil. I got the fucking, all the goods, right? All the goods, baby. Radiant truth. Yes. Thank you, kids. Appreciate you. You got coconut, orange, cedar. Nice. I have some other stuff too. Some frankincense and some lemon. Patchouli is really powerful stuff, dude. It's so weird because when I first moved to Portland, we used to make fun of the patchouli, okay? Because there was there's a lot of hippies up here in Portland. And I dated a fish head for a little while.
when I first moved here. And so we used to kind of like clown on the patchouli coming from LA. It was a thing that we definitely clowned on. But man, what a really good scent that is. Like super powerful, super good. I was wrong as a young man making fun of the patchouli, right? In a fucking, right? Dude, we used to make fun of the deadheads, okay? Like when I was in college, all right, we did. I lived in a fraternity that was next to this thing called the co-op. And the co-op was like where students lived, and it was cheaper to live there, but they had to work a little bit, right? They had to either work in the kitchen or whatever. Everybody had to work in order to get part of their tuition or their living expenses paid. They had reduced living for working. And so a lot of the hippies lived in the co-op, and it was right next door to my fraternity house. And I don't know why, but for some reason, everybody was pretty snooty about this. I mean, UCLA was a pretty snooty school. I didn't expect it to be that way, but it was kind of conservative and kind of like a very moneyed, because it's like sat right next to Beverly Hills and Bel Air. It's like right nestled in. And so everybody there was kind of snooty. And, you know, I was a fraternity guy. I sort of went along with the snootiness, and until eventually I dropped out of the fraternity, got a job at Tower Records. And then eventually I ended up becoming friends with people from the co-op, which like made all my fraternity brothers like mad. Okay. Like yeah, it was an evolution. It was an evolution, you know. I mean, it took me a while, you know, to sort of evolve. It took me a couple years when I became an adult to evolve. Frat boys dressing like Fred Durst, hated it. Dude, see, you know what's funny though, is when I was in the fraternity, nobody dressed like Fred Durst, okay? When I was in the fraternity, I don't know if you guys have heard of this brand, but what we used to wear, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I have to acknowledge my roots, okay? Where I came from. But this was the 80s. So we were wearing side-out sport was the thing when I was in the fraternity. It was volleyball, like volleyball shorts and volleyball t-shirts, side-out sport, and like a lot of backwards hats. And we were very, you know, we were like deck shoes and Bermuda shorts in the 80s, side-out sport volleyball shorts and t-shirts. We were before the 90s Fred Durst shit, okay? We were 80s. We were listening to 80s music like Squeeze and shit like that, and Sparks. And, you know, OP was a little earlier. Like OP was like middle school for me. I lived in Orange County actually in middle school in 7th grade. And that's when I got my first OP, my pair of OP pants. It was pretty wild. But anyway, so I sort of transitioned like lifestyles in college, where I went in, like I was a nerd and an athlete in high school. And then I went into college and I sort of assimilated with the fraternity, and I became, you know, a side out sport wearing, whatever, sort of like working out at Wooden Center, you know, playing intramural rugby kind of guy. And then eventually, over the course of me trying to be that sort of frat boy guy, I found my way to being the artist that I am, and then eventually deactivated from the fraternity. But I still lived there because it was cheap, right? It was like way cheaper. So that's what I eventually did, was I refused to move out of the fraternity. I just deactivated and I stopped going to the parties. And they they got so mad at me, like, because I was living there with the cheap rent, because it was only $270 a month for rent. But I stayed living there and I just deactivated, and I would wear my headphones around the whole time. and they were like trying to get rid of me, dude. They were so mad. I was working at Tower Records and hanging out with the hippies in the co-op. And dude, yeah, because you had fucking pledge dues, right? So in order to go to the events, you had to pay, not pledge dues, you had to pay your fraternity dues. So you had rent and you had dues. But what I did was I paid rent, and then I stopped paying dues, and I stopped attending meetings, and I stopped going to the parties. And I had a Walkman that I would just wear all the time when I was in the house. I wore fucking headphones and a Walkman and just ignored everybody. Like, I stopped talking to people. I came in, went up to my room, went in and took the Walkman off once I got in my room. And they were like really mad. Like, I mean, some of the guys that I was close to understood, but there was more going on. I had some beef. Some of them were trying to like fuck with my head a little bit. And so I sort of took it back at them. Dissimilated from the Borg. I did, right? I mean, there were some issues there. There were some issues that went on with not all of them. Like, I'm still close with some of those guys, but there was like a contingent of fraternity guys that were like pretty toxic. And you know, I sort of did battle with them. And they have meetings. Yeah. So, I mean, they had a big, every Monday night, they would have a major meeting where the entire fraternity would show up. Okay. You had this thing every Monday, and it was a lot of like shit, you know, you covered a lot of shit. You covered like philanthropy and upcoming business, and, you know, like talked about like grades and how the fraternity was doing grade wise. And then during pledge, it was pretty gnarly. Like during pledge seasons, like when there was like fraternity rush, you would talk about people, which was one of the things that was really kind of what got me out of that more than anything, was the way you treated people was pretty crazy. I mean, it was. You had photographs of like these Rush members, and then you sat there in a room full of like 140 guys, like kind of tearing them to shreds and sort of like trying to identify who would benefit the fraternity. Dude, is like gnarly shit. Dude, Spurs! Let's go! Oh my gosh. My appreciation for keeping me informed even when I'm part of the replay gang half the time. You helped me to get through third shift. Thanks, Tommy. Dude, Spurs and you're welcome. Let's go. You get double for that. And we give you a little Trumpy. Yeah, I mean, because guys, you know what's crazy about it is let me just tell you, I did not realize this, okay? But essentially, what fraternity life is it is like a precursor for corporate, like bro, like manosphere America. It really is. You don't know that going in. Going in, you think it's like a brotherhood and some guys and you're hanging with girls, and it's just sort of like this friend group. But what you discover is that it is like an initiate mentality. All right, reset. We froze up there for a minute, guys. Yeah, we had a little hiccup. Yo. All right. Yeah. So let me explain, okay? So let me explain what I was saying is like I said, so UCLA was like a massive school, okay? 35,000 students. It's like a city, okay? It's like so huge. And I was super intimidated going to college. I was really a nerd and not social in high school. I was an athlete, and I was like a well above straight A student. So when I got to college, like I wanted to be like, I don't know, I wanted to have the high school experience. I wanted to have the party, the friends, the social activity experience at UCLA. Okay. And so what I did was I joined a fraternity. And like I said, you go into it thinking it's like a brotherhood and a friend group and all that. And it is to a degree, but what you realize is it's like an initiation into the way the corporate patriarchy works. Okay, where right off the beginning, you start with sort of like humiliation rituals. That's all about keeping your mouth shut. That's all about like defending the core group of brothers. Like in the fraternity, there's like a group of brothers that are like the brothers. And then basically, if you like don't ever rat them out and you protect them, they pull you into the core group. Okay. But then when you're in the core group, you have a responsibility to like participate in all the degeneracy of the core group. And it's really weird. And then you shit on people, okay? But you shit on people in a hierarchy and you have to obey the rules of the hierarchy. And so I did. I joined it and I became part of like the big core group. And then I got really tired of it and I didn't like it. And then I held up a mirror to everybody and forced them to sort of look at what we were doing. And that created like a huge sort of issue. Okay. That created a huge amount of problems. And then eventually I deactivated and eventually, I separated from it fully. But there is a lot of right wing. It is a very right wing mentality there in those like fraternal organizations, you know what I mean? Now I did not experience any, like there was no essay that went on in our fraternity. Okay. There was none of that, but there was stuff that was like borderline that. And what I mean by borderline is not remotely in the essay, but like they used to do shit like they wanted you to like leave the blinds up if you were in your room with a girl so they could go outside and look through the window. Like that kind of shit. Like weird peeper shit, which is like its own style of abuse, and they used to get really mad at me for not like wanting to participate in that kind of shit. It is like pretty, I don't know. It's pretty gross, dude. It really is. Like, it's super abusive. You know what I mean? That is absolutely abuse. That type of thing. It is like, that was the kind of shit that like a lot of them were into. And a lot of them would like participate in that shit like bigly. Dude, Battlefield said, I've been a practitioner of martial arts for over 30 years. And you're probably one of the most well-balanced podcasters I've ever heard. Dude, oh my God, dude, Battlefield Boxing, let's go. Dude, thank you, boss. I appreciate that. I mean, I've evolved, guys. I have. But yeah, dude, that shit was like wild, okay? And not considered abuse at the time. Well, what's funny is I bet it's still not considered abuse, You know what I mean? And like, if you went into like some of those circles, I mean, I think maybe young people are a little more like forward about it, but I think a lot of the people that are concerned about that type of stuff don't join fraternities. And so, Ralph, to answer the question about physical hazing, there was, but not like some of the fraternities. Like there were some fraternities that would actually have like physical abuse, and our hazing was not like physical abuse. It was more like moving, like it was physical, but it wasn't like they were hurting you physically. It was like shit that, like I had to move bricks. I moved during Hell Week. I moved like a huge pile of bricks, like 1,000 bricks, to the backyard. And then as soon as I got them to the backyard, they made me move them to the front yard. And then they would make me move them to the back of the parking lot. And so they did that kind of shit where at like 4 a.m, I was out there like moving bricks, you know what I'm saying? Not having slept for like days and shit like that. So they did physical labor hazing, but not like physical punishment hazing. And you know, it's really interesting. And there was a lot of like binge drinking, although I had one moment though, guys, like my pledge class in particular, like because of me, my pledge class essentially like didn't have to do one of their craziest traditions, where so one of the nights, okay, I'll do a little sidebar here. It won't take long for this story. So what happened is one night I was in the winter quarter of 1988. Okay. So what we had, they had this thing where they take you out into the ocean at like 4 a.m, and they do some rather dangerous, like making you drink and be in your underwear out in like the cold water. Okay. And the way you prevent this happening is by being able to answer their questions. And so what happened was, like in the first week of Fraternity Rush, they told us something about the most important thing here is like the 22nd word on page such and such of the manual, right? It was this like passing phrase. And I remember going to look that up and remembering the word was like unity. I think it was unity, right? And it's funny because these are terms you hear in politics, right? But so what I did was I remembered that word and I remembered where it was. And then eventually, you know, 10 weeks later, we were in the ocean in Malibu at like 5 a.m, freezing our fucking balls off, like waist deep in water. And they asked that question and I fucking knew the answer. And like everybody got out of the water. And so it was kind of an epic moment that sort of like made me like this giant fucking hero at the time, because I saved the entire pledge class from fucking having to like completely submerge themselves, and for God knows how long, like who knows what would have happened afterwards. But yeah, so there's that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of that kind of shit. But we signed up for it. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew what it was. And it's like, I don't know, dude, it's like really weird, like thinking about it, because like that's what's so bizarre about it is like they train you to cover each other's asses, to cover like management's asses. And then they train you to like take the suffering that's handed down to you in order to be a part of the club, right? And dude, this is like, I don't know, it's weird, because at the time you just think it's like a bunch of bros doing shit to each other. But, you know, you look back on it years later and you realize like, oh my God, this is like a training ground for like the man culture that exists in business, where you don't rat out the bosses, you fucking protect the fucking guys in charge. And then they, like, if you do it well enough, they pull you into the club, man. And it's like, I don't know, it's pretty dirty, but eventually I had to get out. Okay. I did it. And I don't regret doing it, because I feel like, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like I got a certain level of understanding and got to reflect on what was really important to me by like participating in it. But it's like, I don't know. It's pretty startling how like, you know, you look back and you realize like, oh shit, dude, that it is like a type of socialization of, you know, that Manosphere Boys Club, you know, no bueno, dude, right? No bueno. So what's my daytime job? This is my job. Dude, I haven't had a job since 2016, boss, right? I'm living the dream, but yeah, man, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's not for everybody, but I like to, I don't know, I'm glad I got to experience the inside and the outside. Cause, you know, like, I guess it's no different now when I think back that I feel like men are groomed to be right wingers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really are. We are actually, like, when I was younger, I was groomed to be a right winger. That's what, and it was society groomed me to be a right winger, to value power and money, and you use the acquisition of money and power to get the woman and to get away with shit, and you get to exist in a private club that is allowed to break the rules, and you cover each other's asses, but you have to treat women a certain way. You have to talk about women a certain way. You have to protect the brotherhood in a certain way. But it was all like very right wing coded, you know. It really was, and I feel like that is a predominant thing still, where they try to sort of indoctrinate the men into that. You know what I'm saying? Right? Cultural hegemony and white spatial imaginaries. All right. I mean, that's a lot of words, right? I feel like it's a red pill thing, right? I do. I feel like it's a red pill. Like they try to, you know, and this is interesting because you know how society now, women are going very far left and women are getting very educated. And I think it's like on some level, they've picked up on that. They've picked up on the fact that society as a whole grooms the men to be these right-wing, religious, like powerful, money-hoarding individuals, okay? And they don't, they fucking, right? And the women can detect that. They're like I think as a society, women are fucking rebelling against that by getting very educated and becoming very liberal, right? And I think it's great. So my fraternity, though, I was actually, my fraternity was way chill compared to the other fraternities, right? I mean, we were like thoughtful and caring guys compared to most of the fraternities, right? But it was different though. My fraternity was like, I don't know. It was a good experience, man. I eventually deactivated, like I said, and had to get out. But there are still guys that I'm friends with, because a lot of them were actually really good guys. But it's that power structure, boss. You know, next thing you know, you're invited to an island. No, dude, I mean, my fraternity was like, they were definitely more caring than a lot of them, you know, and they had a bunch of guys that got good grades, and they were like, you know, there are a lot of fraternities. Let me just tell you, because I rushed many of them, but there are a lot of them that are literally like Donald Trump's kids. Okay. I shit you not. There are a lot of fraternities. Okay. Like at UCLA, it was Sigma Chi, it was SAE, it was Beta Theta Pi, that were like rich white dudes that were like not smart, but they had like really powerful lawyer fathers type, you know, or fucking entertainment industry parents. You know what I'm saying? They're like mediocre men that have a lot of money and really powerful families. There were a lot of fraternities that were like that. But I was originally like one of them, Beta Theta Pi, I originally was going to rush that house, but I didn't. I had a little accident during Fraternity Rush where I kind of, I kind of OD'd on alcohol one night after a Sigma Chi party, and I ended up like passed out on the steps of Beta, and they had to call an ambulance, and I woke up in the UCLA Medical Center. And so that ended my, like the universe stepped in and prevented me from becoming a Beta, which is good because those guys, I don't know what my life would have been like if I had joined that fraternity. Like maybe I would have turned into one of them. I mean, that kind of like, I don't know, you're very impressionable when you're 18. And I was like really hungry to have friends. And if I had fallen in a crew of dudes like that, maybe I would have like ingratiated myself into that power set. And who knows what my life would have been like. But fortunately, I got lucky and I OD'd and woke up in the UCLA Medical Center, and it was a horrible experience. I pulled an IV out of my arm and I fucking ran out, and I paid off like $2,000 worth of medical bills without my parents finding out. I mean, it was crazy. But then the fraternity I joined was Sigma Alpha Mu, which was it was a Jewish fraternity, believe it or not. Everybody in the house but a couple of us were Jewish guys. So it was also, I got a front row seat into like the culture of the Jewish religion, which I had never experienced before too. And that was really amazing as well. And no, I was not in an engineering fraternity. But dude, they liked to fucking party though, bro. Jesus. My house. Dude, it was wild though. I mean, no regrets. No regrets. You know, I mean, I'm glad I lived to tell about it. But I see, unbeknownst to me though, guys, I had a lot of like personal shit. I didn't know I'd been abused at that time. And so I was working through a lot of issues during college that were well above my fucking pay grade. You know, I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you go, right? When you go to fucking, college and you have childhood trauma you don't know about, it's hard, right? The Greek culture was too brainwashed out for you. I mean, dude, I don't blame you. Like, again, for me, I like, I really needed to experience being part of a group. You know what I'm saying? Right? I needed to experience being part of a group, and it was important. It was important because, I had never been like popular. And so I don't know, I wanted to be popular. And so I was. I went and I joined this fraternity and I did everything to be popular, and I was. And I got to see what that road was like. And it was very complicated. There was one thing, though, that was pretty amazing that I was lucky to be a part of, and I didn't realize at the time. But so we had a fraternity president. We had a guy join our fraternity in my third year, and he was openly gay. After he joined, he came out, okay? And this was the first openly gay person I had ever been around. And the fraternity had this like really weird reaction. It was very polarizing. Like people didn't know how to handle it. And he became the president of the fraternity. And to my knowledge, he was the first openly gay fraternity member, definitely the first openly gay fraternity president at UCLA. And that was like, that was like 1989. So that was very ahead of the gay rights movement. And that was right around the time that I was deactivating. And I was like even uncomfortable at the time because I was really unaware of, we just didn't talk about like being gay, right? And in fact, my best friend in high school, I found out years later, was gay. And we didn't know because you just didn't talk about it. It was like taboo. And so then when I got the job at Tower Records, there were openly gay people working there. And so I got this very like swift introduction into like learning about, you know, the gay culture in the late 80s. And that was really, I don't know, like not a lot of people got that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of my friends from high school were still struggling a decade later trying to like sort that shit out, you know? And so I don't know. It was interesting. It's a fucking watching an openly gay man collide with the fraternity lifestyle in 1989 was like not on my bingo card, you know? And no, I worked at the tower on Westwood Boulevard, the one in Westwood. There was a Tower Records in Westwood. That's the little town like right where UCLA is. I didn't work at the one on Sunset. I worked at the cool one, dude. Dude, no, the one on Sunset was pretty grizzled, dude. That had all the kind of like the Hollywood burnout working at it. Dude, nobody wanted to work at the one on Sunset, dude. Oh shit. Bro, it was just beat, dude. It was. But dude, was there one in West Covina? Dude, it was so cool though, man. It was pretty cool, dude. Working in a record store. Dude, I feel like working in a record store was pretty amazing. Okay? It was pretty amazing. Boss's therapy sessions have helped me more than any for-profit punk-ass doctor. Let's go. Oh shit. Dude. Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of experiences, guys, and some of them have been really good and some of them have been a little traumatic, but you know, we put them together and you kind of make a life out of it and you sort of do the best you can, right? But you know what I mean? You worked in a video game store? Yeah, see, a gaming store, I'm not sure if I would like that. Like the thing about the record store was you had really cool clientele. Like at Tower Records, had really good clientele. Where the thing about Tower, and those of you who lived in LA, the 80s and 90s, so what made Tower special was it wasn't a snob store. It was like a half snob. Like a lot of record stores are like super indie, super hip, super like, you know, vinyl only. I'm like, only my music taste is good. And so they're very snooty where if you don't know, like if you're not completely in the know, they're kind of like, fuck off. What are you doing in the store? Okay. Now Tower was like a little bit of that attitude, but it was also a little bit of like, we're open to everybody. So it was kind of the best of both worlds. And that's what was really cool about Tower is you had a little bit of the snoot, but you could be a regular person that wasn't a total like music nerd. You could go in there and people wouldn't treat you like shit. So, and you could be a total fucking music geek and you could go in there and there would be total music geeks to geek out with you. So you could fucking, you know, it covered like the range. And I think that's what people appreciated about Tower was it was like a snooty record store that everybody could go to. And so it had a certain like openness that a lot of record stores didn't have, you know, because, you know, record stores are kind of notorious for being elitist, you know, because people that work in them can be pretty pretentious. You know, bought a hippie dress at Aardvarks. Dude, I used to go to Aardvarks all the time, man. Concert tickets? Yes. No. You would get concert tickets at Tower for sure. Right? Funny when you keep saying Tower. Tower, baby. Dude, Aardvarks. Dude, Aardvarks. And then there was another really great, okay? There was a great clothing store that we had in the 90s in LA, a used clothing store that donated a whole bunch of money to like at-risk LGBTQ youth. And it was called Out of the Closet. And I don't know if you guys, anybody in LA remembers that store, but that place, dude, like I fucking lived at that store, man. Out of the Closet. It was like so good, dude. It was so good. It was like, you know, it was a very forward thinking, like used clothing store. Good shit. Okay. Donated money. Is it still around? That's amazing. I love it. Dude, I used to go there a lot. See, Aardvarks was good too, but Aardvarks was a little more like, I don't know, had a little more of that polyester sort of like old rummage sale vibe. And Out of the Closet had shit that was a little bit hipper, a little bit cooler, right? But so I used to go to Out of the Closet a lot. And then there was another, there was one on La Brea. It was the fucking, dude, I met fucking Matt Dillon's girlfriend there. What's her name? Something about Mary. What was her name? She had the really wide smile. Mary. What was her name? Cameron Diaz. Yeah. No, I met Cameron Diaz at what was it called? Hold on. I wonder if it's still there. La Brea 90s. Hold on, I'm Googling it and seeing a Jet Rag, right? That's what it was. It was Jet Rag, right? Dude, you guys, right? This place, okay? Except I think it used to be yellow, but it's called Jet Rag, right? It was another clothing store I used to live near on La Brea, right? That was another fucking spot, dude. Yeah, no. I met her there once. She was like really, really nice. You know, didn't she mess up her face with surgery? I don't know. Did she? This was in the like mid 90s, right? And right, what's a Jet Rag? I don't know. Right? It's just a thing. Dude, she was so nice. She was really nice. We had a fun little conversation in the clothing racks. Dude, yeah, no, like there's a thing, right? There's a thing, like, because you run into a lot of famous people in Hollywood, but like what I discovered, right, is when you interacted with them and you didn't like treat them like, oh my God, like, oh, right? Like people normally see them and they're like, oh my God, right? And like they don't react well to that. They don't like that kind of energy. But when you see them and you just talk to them and you don't even acknowledge that you're like talking to someone famous, but you just talk to them normal, they like many of them will really let you in and you can have a moment. Like, dude, I had a moment where like fucking, Drew Barrymore was like flirting with me in a fucking sushi bar for like a half an hour. If you just don't fawn and you just act like you're talking to like a normal human being, they like, I don't know, they're just people. You know what I'm saying? And they're people that have such an enormous amount of pressure that like they appreciate it when you fucking don't add to that pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, they're really, and that's one of the things that is really, I guess overlooked is how like, movie stars and rock stars are literally, they're just people. Okay. They're just people that are under an enormous amount of pressure, right? They are an enormous amount of pressure. And the bigger they are, the more the pressure is. So like for me, I was kind of a vivacious sort of guy. And so whenever I would run into people like that, I would just sort of like diffuse the pressure. You know what I'm saying? And give them space to live outside of that pressure. And most of the time they really fucking appreciated it. They're like, I think I was very endearing to them because I was good at sort of like diffusing that fucking time bomb, because they exist under a lot of fucking pressure, dude. And it's wild because, having experienced like even the gaming fame, which was intense, where when you start getting recognized out in public, your life gets weird, guys. Okay. And so like people don't realize it because a lot of times people think, well, you fucking, you know, they chose to be famous, but nobody really prepares you for how shitty being famous is, guys. Okay. That's the thing, is it's not cool. I mean, there are things about it that are fun for a while, right? The attention and all that, but it is like mostly unpleasant, you know, like being famous, especially when you get to the level of fame of where the hate campaigns start, which invariably come with it, is you get famous and people treat you like a cardboard cutout and they think they can just throw arrows at you all day and you're supposed to take it because you're like the object of their desire or their hatred. And it's really unpleasant. And when you get like really big, it's like you can't even turn it off because you get recognized everywhere. And that's why, you know, when you get to a certain level of fame, you can't even go outside anymore. You become kind of trapped in your own fucking house and against your will. You're not choosing that. But like, dude, like there were, you know, at the height of fame of like Axl Rose, he couldn't go out in public. You know, he couldn't. He was like, you know, I mean, he was a dick though. So he's probably not a good example, but he had a lot of like fame really quick, which is why I brought him up, you know. And yes, when you get your freedom taken away, okay, that's what it really amounts to, guys. When you get your freedom taken away, you sometimes like get negative, right? You really do. You know what I'm saying? And somebody asked about kids. I have one kid. He's an adult now. I have one adult. He's 20. But yeah, man, it's like, I don't know, dude. Right? I had fame is a bizarre thing, guys. It can be very fucking destructive. People love hate. I mean, there's things you love about it, right? You like, obviously people coming up and wanting your autograph and like wanting to take pictures with you. It feels very intoxicating. But the problem is, guys, is when you can't shut it off. Okay? The good about fame is good when you want it, but it's bad when you want to shut it off. Okay? And when you're really, really famous, you can never shut it off. And that's what makes it difficult. Okay? It's like when you have lost your ability to have any privacy and you can't be anonymous and you can't turn it off, it can have very fucking like profound effects on your psyche. Dude, wait, did I see somebody say goal? Are we dance party goal? Let's go. We can do it. Dude, anonymity is great. I know, man. I mean, guys, this is why people move to the big city. Okay? Dude, let's go dance party. It's why people move to the city, guys, is anonymity. Okay? That's why people love the big city, right? Is the anonymity. In a big city, you can go for weeks and you can go for weeks and fucking, you know, like never, right? You can go for weeks and never encounter people you know. Am I describing America circa 2026? I mean, dude, now everybody is hungry for fame, right? But a lot of the people that are getting fame now are doing it online, so they never leave the fucking house, bro. They're right? Content creators sit around in front of their cameras all day. So, right? So they're like, oh shit. Oh, you had Alex Cooper? Let's go. He would go to the mall and everyone would leave him alone. Good for you guys. That's amazing. Let's go. Dude, Ella, did somebody say pine box? All right, you guys ready? You guys ready to get into some politics? Dude, that was good. That was a good 50-minute sidebar. You're hungry for money, not fame? Let's go. Let's go. All right. Yeah, man. Dude, you know, today was a pretty chill news cycle. I think, in general. So dude, we had some shit though go down, boss. Okay? Today, obviously, one of the big things today is Trump's tariffs. Okay? Trump got slammed. He got slammed, his IEEPA tariffs. Okay? And so we're going to watch a little video if you guys are wondering, because there's been some like information going around. I see a lot of misinformation on the internet. Dude, MLV, let's go. Thank you, boss. So let me clear some up. I have a video here to show you guys that will explain a little bit about the tariffs. Because guys, all the tariffs are not gone, okay? It is like, so the thing is there are tariffs that like the president is allowed to do. Okay. There are tariffs that where they have like constraints and they have mechanisms that they have to sort of like obey in order to do the tariffs. Okay. Now Trump has some of those tariffs, but he didn't like the constraints. He didn't like the hoops, the restrictions. So he likes to just, I'm going to change the tariffs and add this and add that, and I'm going to add 30% to this country. So he decided to do this shit, declaring an emergency. Okay, it's like the same shit he tried to do with the National Guard, where he wanted to declare emergency that didn't exist so he could walk around bullying. And so the Supreme Court said, you don't get to play the emergency game anymore. Okay. And it was like his own appointees. The only people that sided with him were the rapists and the insurrectionists. Okay. Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, and Alito. Okay. Those are the ones. Everybody else, all the normal human beings that weren't rapists or insurrectionists, fucking voted against Trump. Okay. Tommy, you sound like a cool dude. So glad I subscribed to you this week. Thank you, T4. Appreciate you, boss. Glad you're here. Let's go, dude. Nicole, let's go. Ooh, dude, is that coffee? I love me some coffee. Let's go. So anyway, let's watch this video. And thank you for being a member. Appreciate that, boss. But you may have noticed, because we're going to look at Trump's meltdown. What you may have noticed is how Trump, like, he's now going to lean into the tariffs with the restrictions and kind of make it seem like he's disobeying. Okay, that's his thing. He's got to make it seem like he's breaking the rules. But he lost his agenda, lost a significant amount of power today. And that's why he was crashing out so hard. Dude, Trump temper tantrums. Oh my God. Dude, there's one clip we're going to watch. Okay, there's one clip that we're going to watch in a minute here where, like, I feel like the last year of hell was literally worth it just to see this, like, 2 minutes of Donald Trump having an absolute fucking, like, hissy fit meltdown. Dude, I mean, you know, it's sad. Obviously, people dying and that shit is not okay, and the terrorizing of the immigrant community. But, like, some of the hell we went through was worth it just to watch him, you know, be so infuriated. Because, you know, with him, he is so thin-skinned and he is so ego-driven that this particular beating is something that this is going to be like the 2020 election, guys. He is never going to let today go. Okay, mark it. Okay, 2/20/2026. Donald Trump will never let this day go. He is going to talk about how they won't let him tariff, about how he could destroy the country, but he can't charge $1. He is going to talk about this till he's in the pine box, guys. Dude, he is so aggravated. All right, dude, Engrain, I desire the smell of pine lumber in the air. Yes, indeed, dude. Suki just popped in to say hello. Early night for me. Yes, I saw your message about Mental Health Day. I mean, it's good. You got to take him. But yeah, so let's watch this video. Okay, I feel like this video is a will be good information to sort of vibe with about this. All right, you ready?
Finally took it too far, even for the Supreme Court. So they took away his precious tariffs by a 6-3 vote. And here's the thing. This decision has major consequences for Trump's agenda in other areas too. Let me explain. I'm 𝗙ecie𝗹𝗹𝗀, the former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. Trump's tariffs were an unprecedented power grab because our Constitution specifically says that the power to impose taxes belongs to Congress, not the president, and tariffs are a type of tax. But Trump argued that he was allowed to impose tariffs because the president has special powers in times of national emergency under a law called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. So what's the national emergency, you might ask? Well, the emergency Trump cited is our trade deficit, meaning the fact that we import more goods than we export, which has actually been the case since the 1970s. And just as an aside, our trade deficit actually reached an all-time high last year after Trump tariffed everybody up the wazoo. Anyway, the Supreme Court slapped down the argument that Trump can use emergency powers to impose tariffs. It was a 6-3 vote. Chief Justice Roberts wrote the opinion, joined by Justices Gorsuch and Barrett, both appointed by Donald Trump. Here's what I think is the most important part of the opinion. 3 conservative justices said that the president cannot use emergencies as a pretext for usurping the powers of Congress. In other words, the president cannot just declare a fake emergency to do an end run around the constitutional limits on his power.
See, guys, now what is so spectacular about this is because the Insurrection Act, his threats of martial law, his attempts to nationalize, federalize the National Guard, all of that shit has been based on trying to conjure fake emergencies. Okay, that's been his game from the beginning, is like, I'm going to just declare an emergency because if I declare an emergency, I have the power. But you can't just declare an emergency when there's no fucking emergency. So what's really good about this is this has already, dude, Nicole, let's go. So what's amazing about this, guys, is a lot of whatever he was going to plan on doing for the rest of this year was predicated upon him thinking his Supreme Court was going to give him the power to grant fake emergencies. And so today, in no uncertain terms, the Supreme Court justices let him know that you don't get to fake emergencies, okay? We've let you expand your presidential power, but we're not going to let you make up some shit in order to do it. And so this is like devastating for him on many, many levels, because now he knows in no uncertain terms that it's not really his Supreme Court, okay? And the guy who said it should have been 9-0 is right. But unfortunately, the 2 rapists and the insurrectionists on the Supreme Court will run America into the ground in order to fealty for Donald Trump. But this was a big one, okay? This was it was huge.
That's a big blow to Trump's whole agenda, not just his tariffs. A major part of Trump's presidential strategy has been to exploit emergency powers in order to do things that he otherwise would not be allowed to do without approval by Congress. Trump has already declared at least 12 national emergencies during his second term, which is more than during Biden's whole presidency. He has used so-called emergencies to justify hundreds of executive actions, including mass deportations, blowing up boats, boosting production of fossil fuels, and many other things. But now the Supreme Court is finally saying enough with all the emergencies. By striking down the tariffs, they're taking a big step toward reining in Trump's powers. They're also reminding Congress that they have a role to play here too. So maybe it's time to wake up and start using their powers instead of letting the president walk all over them. Of course, Trump is raging mad that 2 of the 3 justices he put on the Supreme Court voted against him. He called them a disgrace to the nation, which is a sign that they are finally doing something right.
Dude, he is so mad. But, dude, he is so upset. But it's very, very, like, today was a huge blow. Huge blow, boss, right? Huge blow. She's got negative riz. Dude, I like her riz, boss. I enjoy her riz. She's got the feisty lawyer, big glasses riz. It's an acquired type of riz. I like her a lot. But all right, let's go look at some of Trump's meltdown, right? Dude, his meltdown, I love how they said he did the meme. Dude, look at him. Dude, he literally did the meme. I saw people like posting this being like, dude, this is coming. And look at what he did, dude. 2 massive tweets. Oh, shit. So, Karen, I can't turn up the DB on that. That was her TikTok, okay? When I had everything at max volume there, boss. That was on her end. You know what I'm saying? So, sorry about the volume, but we will, when I make a video of it, I will add to it. But sometimes when they record shit that quiet, I can't do anything about it. But yeah, dude, isn't that crazy? He did the meme, guys. He did the meme. All right, let's go in here. Let's go to RuPaul and watch these clips because there were a couple, dude, there were a couple big ones, boss. Oh my God. All right. Dude, let me see where the one is, right? Oh yeah. This is the one, dude. Dude, this is so enjoyable. Oh, dude, Lutnick. Like how this is the first we've seen Lutnick, and he was doing his cheesy, weird laugh too, right? Oh my God, your cat broke their leg. No way, dude. Dude, doesn't he look like 100 years old? Look at him, guys. Trump looks like he's made of clay. I saw a tweet today where somebody said, like, why are they lighting the White House, like, press room like a CSI episode? And I was like, oh my God, it's so true. It is totally like a CSI episode, like they're trying to take blood spatters off the back wall. Dude, Kid's cat, Trump being this mad is hilarious to me. You are right. Oh my God, you are right. Here, hold on. Let me fucking go. We're gonna go. I think this is the same clip, right? Yeah, it is the same clip. All right, you ready? Dude, this one is good, dude. Butlick. Dude, Howard Butlick. Dude, he doesn't look well, though, dude. He is so defeated. All right, guys, all I can say is this. Listen to me, guys. Right here. You ready? Right here. Take me in here. We have been through a lot in the last year, okay? We have dealt with chaos. We've dealt with so many lies. We have dealt with prices going up. We have dealt with, like, insurance going away, right? We have dealt with chaos in our streets, people being shot by fucking feds. Dude, Rumpy be looking like a cadaver, LMAO, yes! It's been a lot, guys. But right now, I want you to just enjoy 1 minute and 11 seconds of Donald Trump absolutely bottoming out as a result of the Supreme Court kicking him square in the fucking testicles, okay?
Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads. I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little two-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything.
Dude, you see how, like, absolutely, like, flustered he is. Dude, he just kept coming back. Oh, I can embargo. I just learned what embargo means, but I can't charge a penny. Dude, that is so brilliant. Oh my God, it's so satisfying. Trump is livid, and I'm loving it. Yes, to quote McDonald's, I'm loving it. Oh man, dude, it's so good. Like that clip, dude, I watched that clip today like 50 times because it's just, you can see him in real time coping, and like, you know how he churns? Like, remember a while back when he couldn't like let go of the guy asking about the jet, about the plane, and he was like in a press conference and he couldn't stop talking about the plane, right? It was like one of those moments. Dude, right there, dude. Dude, so satisfying. Love seeing you laugh, boss. It's infectious. Thank you, Ella. Let's go. Oh, dude. This is so satisfying. I'm just going to take it in. Okay? Take it in. And then, you know, he continued to have meltdowns, guys. Okay? Let's look at some of his other meltdowns. Okay? Watch this, right? Because now we have the questions. Dude, struggle bus rider. Let's go. Thank you, Kids Cat. Dude, needed the lift tonight. Let's go, Kennewick. Got you, boss. Dude, wait until you see the story we're going to cover next, okay? After this, we're going to Ohio, and we are going to show you, like, how absolutely, like, today is, like, rock bottom MAGA day, okay? MAGA rock bottom. Okay, because my God, the Ohio story is something else, bro. Right? It is, dude, it is something else, dude. The MAGA mayor, right? Oh shit, dude. Dude, you're from Dayton? Let's go. Oh shit, Dayton. Let's go. All right, watch this. Here we go. Trump coping.
Bipartisan criticism
No, not bipartisan.
of the tariffs.
Excuse me.
There's several
A few
Republicans
people.
have said that.
Yeah,
But
a
why
few people.
wouldn't you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to.
To push tariffs
I have the
through?
right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs. And it's all been approved by Congress, so there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process. Not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress
down the Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
been
but
votes
you
in the
know why?
Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans. But you don't.
Bipartisan criticism
No, not
of
bipartisan.
the tariffs.
Excuse me.
Dude, because they're not good Republicans. Dude, he is so fucking, like, so fucking coping, bro. And he is up here, guys. He is literally up here just saying anything to be like,
But other alternatives.
you know what I'm saying? To be like, you're not going to stop me. That's what he was doing all day. Like, I'm going to, like, do this shit anyway. You're not going to stop me. There's nothing you can do.
But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives. Great alternatives.
Oh, yeah.
Could be more money. We'll take in more money.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so.
Yeah, hundreds of billions of dollars from us, from our own companies, and from our own people, you fucking moron. Like, hundreds of billions of dollars to what? To make everyone in the world not want to trade with us anymore, right? And so nobody wants to buy our shit. Nobody's coming over here on vacation. Nobody's like doing anything with America anymore except like, you know, giving you money if they're from the Middle East. Like, what is he even talking about? But I love how he's like, oh, we have alternatives. It's like, yeah, if your alternatives were so fucking great, you would have done the alternatives instead of like these tariffs. Okay? He's coping.
To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money.
Dude, yeah, that is now he's launching into the whole I can't charge $1. Oh shit, bro. Dude, and you ready? Oh, here we go. Dude, a whole speech of I know you are, but what am I, Mr. Moj? Yes! Dude, laser! I'm also from Northeast Ohio, and everything you've heard about Ohio people is 100% true. Look up Danny Huff if you really want a trip. Let's go. Dude, yeah, Ohio is weird, guys. Dude, Ohio is pretty fucking weird. Although, when I was on tour, I played some shows in Cincinnati that were amazing. And I also played and met some really cool people in Akron, of all places, when I played at the Lime Spider. But a lot of Ohio, dude, is beat. And, you know, can I just tell you, one of my most disappointing things that I experienced on tour happened in Ohio, and it was at Antioch. Okay, so there's like what is it called? Is it Yellow Springs? I think it's Yellow Springs. There's like a really small town, and there's a college called Antioch College that used to be like the epicenter of fucking, you know, like rebellion, sort of like liberal rebellion mind. Okay, Antioch was. It was like a Berkeley of the Midwest. Okay, it was a small liberal arts school in a really small town in Ohio, but it was like rebellion fucking grew from Antioch. And so I had a show at Antioch, and I thought this was going to be like a bunch of passionate activists. And dude, the school was like depressing as hell. Like everybody there was just depressed and like not at all. It was not at all what it was in the fucking 60s, bro. It was beat, dude. I was so disappointed. The defiance is a symptom of his dementia. Dude, it's so beat now, right? It's too bad, dude. It's too bad, but all right. You know, I mean, times change, boss, right? They do. They do. All right, what do we got, dude? We got 5 minutes. We got 15 and 5, guys. Can't charge $1. All right, let's go. Dude, let's go. You ready? Here we go. Here we go. Watch this one.
Utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P. Two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. We broke tariff.
Dude, see, you know what's so funny, though? Here's what I don't get about, like, the 50,000 and the Dow. Dude, Rot says, sweat and wood shavings fly about as artisan carpenters carve Donnie's goodbye box off to the orange abyss to this overcooked, sweaty turkey. Let's go. Bye-bye, sweaty turkey. Jolie says, I live in Indiana, and even we think Ohio is weird. Dude, yeah, Ohio is second only to Florida, okay? Dude, Ella says, LFG, let's go. All right, we got 4 minutes. We need 12 and 4, baby. Let's run it up. But the thing about the Dow that's so ridiculous, oh, hey, NSA, let's go, baby, let's go. Dude, James, let's go. Dude, the thing about the Dow is it's not an accomplishment. Okay, the Dow has been steadily going up. Like every president, it's eventually going to hit 50. It's eventually going to hit 60. I mean, it just keeps going up. It's not like it's going back down to like 20,000 ever. Like, what are you talking about? It is like, you know, and what's more though, is with the stock market, it doesn't even affect most of America, man. You know, 93% of the stock market is owned by 10% of America. So like, come on, man. Jolie, let's go. All right, 3 minutes, guys. 9-3, baby. 9-3. Dude, but I love how the Dow, they put it up there. The Dow is not 50. Dude, what a fucking, oh my God, bro. Dude, he is like brutalized that clip. But there's one more clip we got to watch, guys. And this is the last clip of that we're going to watch you, Trumpy. Dude, there we go. Dance Party LFG. Let's go. All right, 2 minutes. 8-2. 8-2. 7-2. Thank you, Jolie. Let's go. Stupidity. Yeah, dude. Everything about his presidency. Like, my God, dude. Can we just look at the other shit today? Like, the other news today was about the GDP in the second quarter. Like, oh my God, bro. Like, the fourth quarter GDP was 1.4%, guys. Let's go. NSA, let's go. All right, 6. Oh my God, a minute and a half. 6 left, 5 left. Good show. Thank you, Ralph. Let's go, baby. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. 5 left. Pine box. Pine box. To Jolie, let's go. We find the clip. The clip. The clip. Dude, Rupar's like fucking 1 minute. 4 remain. Here we go. Three remain. Jolie, let's go. Holy shit, down to the wire. Oh shit. Big flipper, 3 left. 2 left. 1 left. LFG, there it is. 30-30, let's go. We did it. Yes, dance party has been secured. Let's go, baby, let's go. Hit that like button. All right, here is the last, there's a last couple clips here, okay? Number 1 is, we do have to look at this clip because, of course, today, like, Trump wasn't content with, like, the Supreme Court following the Constitution, right? To Trump, this is like, you know, oh, shit, this is the fucking, you know, the end of, you know, it's the Democrats, and it's political, and they're out to get me, blah, blah, blah. But look at what he says. Look at what he says here.
The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people.
Dude, yeah, you see that? You see the shot? You can't knock their loyalty. He's so mad because of Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett, right? Because again, guys, let's not forget that the Democrats or whatever, here's one of the evil political people that set him up, right, dude? It's his own people. Him right there, you can't like fault, you can't, like he admires their loyalty, dude. Oh, dude, that is so satisfying. Like, knowing that his own people voted against him is like, he is so burnt. He thinks it's loyalty. It's not loyalty, okay? I mean, it is for some. For the three who voted, who dissented, it was loyalty. For Kavanaugh, Thomas, and Alito, all three of them should have been 9-0, okay? Those three, like, saying fucking dissenting was fucking bullshit, okay? But let me see where the other one is, okay? We got to look at the other one, because the ultimate thing, okay, where we just knew it was like, it was him absolutely hitting rock bottom. Oh my God, this one's good too.
That the Democrats who oppose this only because they want to go the opposite way. They'd like to pack the court. They want to put on 21 people. They want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do it. Maybe they would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the court. They want to do anything to hurt our country.
To hurt our country? Dude, maybe they should do it. Pack the court. Pack the court. Right? Let me...
of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time.
Dude, he read it.
Make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have...
Dude, he read, thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh my God, bro. All right. Oh, here we go.
Of course, I don't think this plane's big enough to take the press in this room, but a lot of the press right here. We're in Georgia. And I said to the owner, I made a speech at a factory. They make steel products. And I said, how are you? Nice to meet you. How's business? President, I'd love to kiss you. This is a very powerful man. I don't want to be kissed by that man. But a very powerful, strong man. He's been in the steel business for many years. His father started it.
What a weirdo.
And he said, sir, I want to kiss you. I said, why? He said, because we were down to working 1 hour a week. And then you came in and imposed tariffs. And all of that foreign junk that they were dropping into our country stopped. And we're now going to double shifts, 7 days a week, and we may be very soon going to 24 hours around the clock, almost 7 days a week. He said, sir, I want to kiss you so badly. And I said, no, thank you. But you know what? He just to finalize it.
Dude, what an idiot. But now, guys, I think we see why Benny Johnson has been pulled into the presidential circle, right? Now we're starting to understand why they got Benny Johnson in there for moments like
this. He said,
this.
This is a great place in Georgia. He said, all up and down the highway. Same exact answer, sir. We're all going out of business. We're going to go bankrupt. We're all going out of business. And now every one of us are thriving, and we're hiring people.
Oh, sure.
Like we haven't, he said, like I've never, and he's been in business for, I think, 45 years, like we've never hired before. That's because of tariffs.
Dude, because of tariffs. Like things that never happened for $1 million, please. Oh, here's another one. You ready? Once again, remember last year he said we were going to see the good stuff this year? Look at what he says now.
And we're going to keep it going the same way. And you're going to start to see the results in a year from now when all those factories start that are under construction.
A year from now.
You see all the construction numbers are so good.
Dude.
Those construction workers are building factories that are going to be open, including not only AI, which is big, but car plants coming in from Canada who ripped us off for 30% of our market. Mexico ripped.
Dude, all right. Now, first of all, two things. One is every factory that is getting built right now has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Okay, there are some factories that were getting built from Biden's fucking, you know, Inflation Reduction Act, okay, the infrastructure bill. There are some factories that got pulled back into America, but that shit, that construction has already started. Okay, Build Back Better. Thank you. But it was like Build Back Better, though, didn't quite happen, but there was still some manufacturing that like came back, okay? But because they didn't pass Build Back Better, but there was the CHIPS Act and the PACT Act, and there were some manufacturing jobs that came back, okay? So there are some factories that are like cropping up around now, but they don't have anything to do with Trump. And in fact, the tariffs are probably going to be like, you know what I'm saying? The tariffs are probably going to thwart even some of that shit, okay, that Biden did, some of that Biden like work that Biden did. However, like the fact that he's like another year, in last year he said a year from now, and now he's saying a year from now, and like, homie, the economy's never coming back under this guy, okay? Right? I mean, the GDP in the fourth quarter was 1.4%. All right, we got to find the last clip. Where is it? This is the final one where you just know that Trump is done. Okay? Actually, we're going to watch two clips. All right? We're going to watch this one because this one is pretty valid.
President Trump, you said that you were disappointed with that, but were you surprised with this decision? What you felt when you...
I was surprised because I thought that what we did was, number one, according to, I mean, I read the paragraphs, I read very well, great comprehension. I read everything there is to read, and I said, we can't lose this case. But we can when judges are political, when they want to be politically correct, when they're catering to a group of people in D.C. maybe. I don't know what it is, because when you read it, there's no other interpretation. There is no other interpretation. But it's okay.
Dude, I read it. Dude, he didn't read shit, okay? And there's the justices that fucking did it, right? Not political, not Democrats, right? What an idiot, bro. I read everything there is to read, okay? Everything there is to read. All right, hold on. Let's find the last one. The last one is here. All right. It is oh, I guess not on this one. I guess maybe Asen picked it up. This is the last quote. Dude, he barely knows how to read. Dude, he barely knows how to read. Dude, what a dink. But this one was good, boss. Oh, man. This is how you know he hit the final straw. Okay? The absolute last straw. God damn. I don't know how these guys do these clips all day. Oh, right here. Here it is. Here it is, dude. This is it. Oh, shit. Dude. This is when you just know he's beaten, right? I mean, he's up there. He's railing. He's like reeling. He can't contain himself. He is visibly frustrated. And then, of course, he gets a question from fucking CNN, and he just falls apart.
No, please. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking. I don't talk to CNN. It's fake news. Go ahead.
Mr. President, yes.
Dude, right? She was asking him, do you regret putting Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court? And he's like, dude, I don't talk to CNN. He didn't like that question, guys. You regret Amy Coney Barrett. Oh, shit. Right? Do you regret? Tommy, Mama loves your show. Let's go. Let's go, Mama. We love it. Dude, do you regret Amy Coney Barrett? You know he does. He can't stand her. Right? Right? Tommy, how do tariffs benefit Trump personally? So, I mean, the thing about tariffs is the benefit of the thing about tariffs, guys, is it's never been about the benefit. Okay. It's been about the unilateral power. Okay. There is no benefit to tariffs. Okay. All right. I mean, when they were used in the turn of the century, they made it so everybody was poor except for the wealthiest people. Okay. Because they allowed the wealthiest people to sort of control the supply of things and to have their economy uninterrupted by foreign goods. Okay. That's the primary thing, is it protects, it allows American people, American businesses to control the market. Okay. Because nobody is undercutting and buying cheaper, better foreign stuff. So they can produce low quality shit and still like control the price floor. But the thing about Trump is he never really cared about that. Trump just liked having unilateral control. Oh, you made me mad? I'm hiking up your tariffs. Now it's 50% tariffs, right? And then also he sells the he sells the carve outs too. Oh, you want your industry to have a carve out? I need $100 million for my fucking Epstein ballroom. Or you need to invest in my cryptocurrency company. Right. So there is that, the negotiating for who gets relief from the tariffs. But part of it is his independent control, though. He just liked being able to dictate, like, oh, I'm raising your tariff. Canada makes me mad 50%. Right. Yo, you just upset Ivanka. You said something bad about Ivanka's dress. 30% tariff. Right. He's such a dink, dude. What a fucking dick. I mean, there is something to be said for tariffs if you want to be isolationist and you want, if American companies want to make inferior goods and still be able to charge premium prices for inferior goods, then tariffs are beneficial because you tariff the shit out of the foreign competition, especially if it's better goods. And you make sure that you can sell your, cheap shit for more money, right? So I feel like if you're a con robber baron, tariffs are great for you. But dude, they're not a good way of like raising income. They're not. I mean, we pay for that shit. In particular, it's small businesses, guys. Okay? Small businesses got hammered by this shit. Okay, they did. They couldn't afford, if you're making t-shirts and you already are like trying to sell, so you're competing with like a big company, or whatever, you're making some goods, you're importing some shit from China and that are part of your things, like small businesses were getting destroyed by tariffs. And what's more, guys, is the other thing about them that was so destructive is how stupid Trump is. Because the thing is even shit that's made in America is using materials from other countries. So you can have shit that is literally made in America and those tariffs are like fucking you up because your raw materials are coming from other fucking countries, So it was like there were so many unintended consequences, And yeah, no, the farms too. It is because of it is exactly what I'm talking about that hit the farms as well, right? Because shit is made in America, but the nitrates are coming from out of the country for Shiloh's fertilizer. Or if you have a John Deere tractor, a bunch of those parts are coming from Mexico, or they're coming from Canada, or they're coming from fucking clothing companies, right? Shit is coming from El Salvador. Shit is coming from fucking Panama, coming from Nicaragua. And so all of that stuff is like, even the American made goods are getting fucking gutted. And the reality is not everything is plentiful in America. I mean, we need foreign goods. We do, And then what's more is what Jen Cole said is once we started sacking everybody else's economy with the tariffs, they just stopped buying our shit. They're like, oh, okay, because here's the deal. You ready? You ready for this one, guys? The real thing that nobody wants to talk about is not everything is available in the United States. There are things like coffee and bananas and certain plethoras of minerals that don't necessarily exist here. But pretty much everything the United States sells, you can get elsewhere. And that's the problem, okay? Is everything the U.S. fucking sells, you can get like not in the U.S., okay? Right? and that's kind of the thing that is sort of fucks up his little plan is all the other countries can be like, well, we're just going to buy from other shit. Right? We're going to buy from not America, and good luck to you, America, because a lot of the shit you need, you can't produce yourself. And so, like, I mean, they're not smart, man. Like, but I've always, you ready for this, guys? I've just always thought that the global economy is really important. Okay. I think globalism is really important. And it is globalism from a peace standpoint, globalism from an income distribution standpoint, globalism from a trade standpoint, from an immigration standpoint. Like we should be moving towards a global economy and a global fucking, I don't know, breaking down class barriers and shit globally. Right? Because, we're all interconnected. This idea of like isolationists, if you build up America to be really wealthy and powerful at the expense of other poorer nations, America suffers for that. And that's what made USAID like so important. Okay. Is USAID, right? USAID was like empowering some really struggling factions of the global economy and of the global humanity. And that shit benefited us. And it didn't cost a lot of money. And that's what's so devastating about this. Like these Republican guys think that if you just cut everybody off and you keep it all for yourself, you win. But you don't win that way. Okay? You don't. I mean, the wealthiest people may win in pure profit, but the reality is like everybody does better when the bottom people all around the globe are elevated. And that's just factual. And it's in all things, right? It's like if you have a family, you want to help the most struggling member. And you take the most struggling member of the family and you get them elevated and your whole family rises. If you have a company, right, you get the people that are struggling elevated, your company rises. On the team, right? It's not how your stars perform, guys. You can ask any Super Bowl team or you look at the World Series. It's the way the bottom of the bench guys show up, okay? When the fucking Toronto Blue Jays beat the fucking Seattle Mariners, it was their ninth batter, okay? This guy, he hit 2 home runs. 2 days in a row, that motherfucker hit multi-base home runs. Their 9 batter. Their bottom guy who had like a no batting average. That's how you fucking win, man. You win when the bottom is performing, when they're overperforming. Always. Always. That's always the way you fucking do it. And I know Engrain, I really hated that guy too, but like I had to respect it. He did it. And then the Dodgers went and they had their fucking like that heavy set relief pitcher with the beard came in and pitched like multiple innings, just lights out. And the Dodgers had some players that hadn't done shit the whole series that fucking, hit some big balls. And dude, that's the ticket always. You want your weak links to be strong, man. You know what I'm saying? You really do. But dude, it was, watching the Dodgers win in that last game, watching the Blue Jays just get bled out was pretty satisfying. It was. All right. Because I was resentful. I wanted the Mariners to win it, but the Mariners, like, they hamstrung themselves. They fucking fucked up, but like watching the Dodgers just bleed them out in that last game, dude, was so satisfying. Oh shit, dude. It was so good watching them lose like that. Oh man. Let's go. But dude, I gotta say, okay, I don't know if it's another Paula White weird like religious cult woman fixation I have. I don't know why these religious cult women are like all of a sudden I'm like enjoying them. But like I have really enjoyed Amy Coney Barrett. I really have. I mean, I think she's crazy. And I think she's like, obviously she's got this toxic religion thing going on. But like, I actually respect how she has made some really fucking like fair decisions. Okay. She really has. She has not simply been a Trump clone. Okay. And 𝗙𝗪𝗓 has done that a little bit too. Right. But Amy Coney Barrett has like, she has not lost her humanity in that role. And like, I feel like she's taken her role really seriously. And I know Trump is so resentful about her being on the court, right? But you know what I'm saying? It is like, she is not simply a fucking rubber stamp. I wish she wasn't quite as religious with her bullshit, because I still know she's making decisions from the religion sometimes, and I'm gonna fucking ping her on that. But she has made some legal decisions where she has just really respected the role that she sits in, and they've been hard ones because they've made her wildly unpopular, and she's, you know, takes heat for it. But she is, you know, there is a certain level of like, you know, I like that, intellectually honest. There is a certain level of like, you know, even inside her religious zealotry, there is a certain level of integrity that I have to respect that she has held on to, you know, and you know, because I didn't think she was going to be that way. I thought she was going to be like Alito number 2. Okay. I did. I thought she was going to be like subterfuge of like any remotely left-wing agenda and protect the fucking Heritage Foundation at all costs. Okay. I really did. I was very concerned that she was going to, you know what I'm saying? She was going to be one of those people, and she has not, right? And so that was like pretty surprising to me. Okay, because you know some people like Brett Kavanaugh, dudes, people paid his debts and they paid his mortgage and they paid his country club fees and they got him out of like a rape, you know, situation. So Brett Kavanaugh is like purchased. Okay, he just wants to like have his late stage alcoholism and put his head down and just rubber stamp everything. And Clarence Thomas is bought and paid for, and Alito is, you know, his wife is flying the upside down flag. So we already know where he stands. Okay. So the, you know, a lot of weight has fallen on 𝗙𝗪𝗓 and Amy Coney Barrett to like, will they actually, you know, like respect their constitutional duty? And to be honest, I think for the most part, those two have done a pretty decent job at that, you know? And well, yeah, the Roe v. Wade, though, that was her religious decision, right? You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that I don't like, is when her religion is in there. Anything that touches her religion, she's going to get in there and cook it. But I think if it doesn't affect her personal Christianity, she's able to like make somewhat of a rational decision. But yes, I mean, she was the Roe v. Wade, right? Right? That's why she was there. She was there for Roe v. Wade. They just weren't certain how she would be for everything else, right? And that's what you get when you make that decision, okay? They did put her there specifically knowing that that was going to be the Roe v. Wade decision, but unfortunately, they did realize that she was more than just like, she wasn't going to be their lapdog other than that one thing that was like personally tied to her religion. Dude. Oh, shit. So satisfying, though. Right? You know what I mean? So satisfying. Dude. Why would I gleefully root for LA? I mean, dude, I grew up in LA. Okay? So, like, dude, I'm always going to like the Dodgers, right? And you're saying they're the cause of the lockout? Yeah, but I mean, guys, the baseball should just have a salary cap, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, just have a fucking salary cap, and then you don't have to deal with that bullshit anymore. That's not like the Dodgers or the Yankees' fault. It's like they're just, you know, it's stupid to not have a salary cap. You know, you need that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And I mean, that is, you know, but like, come on, man. What are we doing? The NFL already showed you the way to have some sense of balance, you know? But dude, I'll always like the Dodgers a little bit because I grew up in LA, and LA is a fucking great city, boss. Right? Trump signed a global 10% tariff. Yeah, but that's more of that fucking, that's more of his executive order nonsensory. Dude, Trump's agenda is pretty much done, guys. All we need to do right now is we just need to win the House back in November, and Trump is done. Okay? He is done, boss. He really is, bro. It is like this was a nut kick that he's not going to soon forget. I mean, did you see what was going on today, dude? Right? I mean, look at this shit, okay? Dude, GDP in the fourth quarter, 1.4%, bro. That is brutal, okay? 1.4% is like brutal, all right? And did you see what they were doing today, too? Like, look at this. As soon as this shit went down with the tariffs, look at what they went to. Look at what they spun to. Every right winger was posting this shit. This was the big story. Oh, God, it's not this one, right? Look at this. New emails obtained by Fox News from May 2022, 3 months before Mar-a-Lago was raided, illustrated coordination between the White House counsel's office and the DOJ. And of course, they're not going to show you the emails. They pulled like a quote from this email, but they're not going to show you the emails because this was their big story today, was like, oh, Biden was like, you know, criminalizing. Oh, right? That's what they were on today, guys. This is how they finished their night. Was like, ooh, let's drum up some Biden scandal. Right, because the fucking GDP's in the tank, the jobs report is cratered, right? The economy's in the shitter. It's $30 for a steak. Tariffs are bleeding everyone dry. Everybody is sucking hind tit, as my mom used to say. And so their big story is like Biden was like lawfare. Bro, it's like so funny, dude. Dude, and you know, breaking tonight, and it's some story. Oh, look at fucking Cranus the Menace over here, dude. Oh, dude, Joe. But look at it. FBI internal emails on potential Biden involvement. Because again, they don't have anything. There was no fucking, right? There was no Biden involvement. You know what I mean? This is like a nonsensical shit, right? That's why they're being very careful with their language. And they're not showing you the actual full email because, you know, it's fucking bullshit. If this were anything, they would show you the email. They would show you the whole email. Here, read this email. But they're not. They pulled some quote about, you know, them setting up an interview of fucking whatever his name was, Wnauda, right? They wanted to set up an interview, right? And they're like making this thing, ooh, but you notice how they say FBI internal emails on potential Biden involvement because they don't want to get sued again. They don't. They've already gotten their $787 million ding thanks to Tucker Carlson. But like, bro, they're so cooked. Dude, they're... Dude, love it. We love to see it. We just love to see it. Dude, nice. Yeah, dude, he does have some nice moves, doesn't he? Dude, nice moves, Donnie. Dude, even these guys are looking and they're like, oh shit, what is that guy doing? They're like, why is the president sticking fucking buffet food in his pocket? That's what these guys are thinking. They're like, dude, why is Trump filling his pockets with the buffet? It's his own club, dude. What is this old man doing, dude? Dude, his stomach is like a pastry bag filled with diarrhea. Dude, it's brutal. Oh shit, bro. Oh my God, dude. Dude, you know he's like stuff in the pocket. Oh. He's using the drapes because they don't make Depends big enough. Oh shit. Dude, he is so grody. He's grody, dude. TikTok. Oh man. All right. So now, guys, here's what we got to look at, dude. We got to look at this, dude. You ready? Butler Township. Guys. Oh my God. Oh, Lord have mercy, dude. Right? Oh, here it is, dude. Dude, look at this headline, guys. Village of Butler, Mayor Wesley Dingus charged with voyeurism after allegedly sniffing teen girls' underwear. Dude, the MAGA mayor. Dude, his name is Mayor Dingus. And he was sniffing underwear. Okay? Can we just tell you? So let me just tell you this. And here's where I want to say, guys, the kids are all right. Okay? Because there was a teen girl. Now, I don't know that this girl, I don't think this girl is his daughter. I'm a little confused of the specifics here. Okay? Because I don't think it's his daughter. Right? There was no mention of it being his daughter. But basically, though, is it his stepdaughter? Okay, so there was a teen girl in his house that was convinced that he was going into her room. And so it is, I guess, all right, it is his stepdaughter. So she was convinced that he was going into her room. And so you know what she did? She bought a camera, guys. The kids are all right. She bought a camera and she set up a sting operation and she had it like ping her phone. It was a motion detected camera and she set it up. And then 2 days in a row, she filmed him walking into her room and then him doing the deed on the camera, in front of the camera. And then she had that footage and she went to the cops and she had him picked up, bro. And dude, isn't that amazing? I mean, kudos to her for just taking charge and not letting the creeper. But guys, here's the thing about this is hear me out on this. We hear a lot of shit from MAGA, okay? MAGA, they talk about cities. They talk about groomers. They talk about blue cities and the LGBTQ. And they talk about like blue policies and woke policies and indoctrination and all this shit. And then what do we get from a MAGA mayor? The MAGA mayor is going and sniffing somebody's underpants. and like, yo, Dingus, Mayor Dingus, what are you doing, bro? Like, why? Just leave the teen girls alone, for the love of God. What is going on with these guys? It is the Epstein, the party of Epstein with these freaks.
A Richland County mayor is facing criminal charges in a disturbing case. In fact, it's so disturbing, I'm going to leave out some details. You can see the full story on our website. Police say Butler Mayor Wesley Dingus allegedly went into a teenage girl's bedroom twice last month and was captured on a hidden camera with the girl's underwear. Dingus now faces 2 counts of voyeurism. Today, a judge ordered him to stay away from the alleged victim and to wear a GPS monitor while he is out on bond. He is due back in court on April 8th.
Dude, they left out the details because, yes, it was disturbing, okay? He was caught on a hidden camera sniffing underwear, okay? That's what he did. A report from Richland County Sheriff's Office outlines the allegations against Dingus, with the claims being made by a juvenile who had been in his home, okay? Richland County Child Services relayed the reports to law enforcement on the day the incident is said to have taken place, with the deputy eventually interviewing the accuser at her school. According to the report, the teen hid a small camera in a bedroom inside the house and received multiple movement notifications around 7:15 a.m. on January 13th, indicating videos had been recorded. In the footage, deputies say Dingus could be seen smelling at least 4 pairs of the girl's underwear, 2 of which had been worn and were still unwashed, for several seconds, as well as touching his groin area over the clothes. The deputy later spoke with Dingus and set up a time to talk with him, but the interview was canceled on the advice of Dingus's lawyer. It would be nearly a month before authorities wound up arresting Dingus, and development that occurred last Friday, dude. Isn't that gross? We sure AI didn't rip the South Park off. Dingus is wild. I know, isn't it? Of course, it was Mayor Dingus. Dude, yeah. It is 7 in the morning, guys. He is like in there, like this is right in the morning, like homie, first thing, dude. Like before going to the mayor's office, he is in there prowling in the girl's fucking bedroom. Like, what kind of guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, who does that? How demented are you? The party of Epstein, guys. Like, my God. Dingus appeared in Mansfield Municipal Court on Thursday, was released after posting 10% of a $10,000 bond, and he's ordered to wear a GPS monitoring device and forbade him from having any contact with the accuser. Okay? At the time of his arrest, you ready? Dingus had already been out on bond in a separate case that saw him indicted for aggravated assault and other charges in Belleville. Okay, according to officials, Dingus spotted a man who was trying to flee from police on July 11, 2025, and he ran the suspect over with his car. Okay? Dingus has pleaded not guilty in connection with that incident. So this guy's a problem. And yes, the underwear belonged to a teenager. Okay. Dingus, 48, ascended from council president to mayor of Butler following the resignation of mayor. And then, you know, the village chose to grant Dingus a full term. So this guy got elected. Something tells me he's not getting elected to mayor again. But guys, isn't that wild? Like, what the fuck is going on? And no, he does not have to register. They just charged him with voyeurism. So they charged him with like as a non like sex offender crime. Okay, so I don't think he's gonna have to register as an offender. I highly doubt it. But dude, isn't that crazy? Like, yeah, he will be in Trump's cabinet by this time next year. Now, guys, we're going to pivot to another story, okay? Because while we're talking about the dysfunction of MAGA, because, guys, this is a pattern with these guys, okay? This guy is, like, obviously being a fucking weirdo with this, you know, with the whatever, the sniffing. But so, you know what else was going on? guys, what else is going on is this. And now this woman was from Oregon. Okay, she was a Republican from Oregon. She lost. She used to be the congresswoman from Clackamas. Okay, 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪. Okay, and she lost in the last election. Okay, and then Trump put her in his cabinet. Okay, she is his labor secretary, 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪. But look at this. Okay, there she is with her husband. You ready? But look at this shit. DC police have searched 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪's Labor Department office as part of an SA investigation against her husband. Okay, Trump's labor secretary. What is it with his labor secretaries? You have Acosta and Epstein. Now you have 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪. Dude, her husband has been repeatedly accused of SA. Okay, this is now a scandal burning through Trump's Labor Department. Okay, isn't that nuts? Like, bro, it is like so crazy. Okay, here she is. Dude, she is a scoundrel. This woman is a scoundrel. But her husband, bro, is like tearing this shit up. Okay? Let's see if we can find a little report about this. Unbelievable, dude. All right, you ready? Here we go.
Several reports say Secretary of Labor 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪, who is Oregon's former congresswoman, is now the subject of a complaint filed with the Department of Labor. And according to those reports, 2 of the Labor Secretary's top staffers are now on leave. Devin Haskins joins us now with more on this. Devin, walk us through what we know right now.
Yes, Stephanie, the news was first reported by the New York Post on Friday, alleging Secretary 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪 abused her position to rank on the job and had an extramarital.
Oh, this is the old one. Never mind. That's the old one. Here we go. Wrong one. That was the old scandal. Okay, that was her previous scandal, right? That we've already covered that one where she was getting hammered on the job and fucking causing chaos. But now it's about her husband. All right,
Labor
ready?
Secretary. The husband of former Oregon Congresswoman Labor Secretary 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪 is now facing some serious accusations. The New York Times reports Dr. Sean 𝗙𝗪 has been barred from the Labor Department's headquarters in Washington, D.C. This comes after sources and a police report obtained by the New York Times show at least 2 female staff members told officials that he had sexually assaulted them.
Dude.
The Times reports one case was caught on office security cameras in December.
Dude, her husband is sexually assaulting. Her husband is SAing Labor Department employees. Bro, on camera. Like, what are they doing? Think about the work environment. This is the Trump admin, okay? But, like, my God, 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪 is doing this. Trump is, like, smarming people. They're always having to keep him away from female employees. Kristi Noem is committing adultery with her chief of staff. I mean, Lutnick was on the island. Elon Musk was on the island. I mean, this is the Epstein administration. Donald J. Epstein is the president of the United States right now, guys. Donald J. Epstein at your service. Like, what in the fuck, bro?
The concerns about Dr. 𝗙𝗪 were raised as part of an internal investigation into his wife and her senior staff by the department's inspector general. That investigation includes an alleged romantic relationship between 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪 and a member of her security detail, along with claims that they were taking staff to strip clubs, drinking alcohol at work, and taking personal trips at taxpayer expense. Secretary 𝗙𝗵𝗍𝗪's lawyer denies these allegations. The New York Times reports Dr. 𝗙𝗪 did not respond to comment.
So there you go. She was, her and her staff are drinking on the job. They're going to strip clubs. They're spending taxpayer money on personal trips and entertainment. She is having an affair with her security guy. Her husband is SAing employees. Bro, welcome to the Trump administration. Getting piped out. Dude, what are we doing? Okay? Like, what are we fucking doing here, boss? My God, dude, the Epstein admin is in full swing. I mean, dude, she is such a troll, though. She is so scoundrelly, right? But this is, guys, this is like the norm. This is the norm for the Trump admin. This is literally the type of chaos. This is why ICE agents are shooting people in the streets, guys, because there is no leadership, okay? Trump is chaos, and there's no rules, and there's no, like, boundaries, okay? It is just a disaster of sexual dysfunction and corruption. That's it. That's the whole thing. I mean, they're all, like, sexually deviant. I mean, look at it. Pete Hegseth, rapist, okay? Lutnick is Epstein's Island and lying about it. DeReamer, affair, her husband's SA-ing. Kristi Noem, long-standing adulterous affair with her chief of staff, okay? There's, like, all kinds of power struggles. You know what I mean? I mean, dude, they're just, J.D. Vance is probably banging Erica Kirk, okay? Scott Bessent is probably sleeping with half of the Republican congressmen, all right? And more power to him. Scotty, go get him, boss, right? It is just the whole thing. Matt Gaetz was a rapist. Kavanaugh's a rapist. Clarence Thomas is a rapist, right? I mean, dude, they're all just degenerates, right? Patel is flying around, taking jets everywhere, taking government planes. Dude, Katie Miller and Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk is running around with a turkey baster, impregnating any girl on Twitter that will answer his DMs. I mean, dude, this shit is just nothing but a disaster. You have RFK Jr. that was, keeping an infidelity an infidelity journal while flying around with, Epstein, right? And again, they're the ones that are telling us, okay? They were telling us that we have a morality problem. And yeah, dude, Ronnie Jackson, you see the drug list? Remember when we looked at the Trump drug list where it showed people taking like 2,000 Ambien? Somebody in the Trump admin was like selling Ambien on the black market. Dude, y'all are comedy gold for my soul. Let's go, kids. Let's go. Dude, you can't make this shit up. Okay? You can't make this shit up, guys. It is just, they were absolutely reselling. When you're taking 2,000 Ambien out of the White House, dude, Matt Schlapp was grabbing everybody. Dude, you got Benny Johnson hooking up in TPUSA. We're now 75 days into the Benny Johnson lawsuit against Milo. That has not happened. That is never going to happen. Like, dude, this is maximum kink, guys. It is, bro. This whole administration is a disastrous maximum kink. All right? It is like kink-orama. Dude, maximum kink. MK Ultra, boss. Dude. Oh, dude, let's go. All right. You thought it couldn't get any weirder. Guess what? It just got weirder, guys. All right? It literally just got weirder. Dude, yeah, Boebert. Dude, Boebert got demonetized, or I got fucking Beetlejuiced. Dude, I was going to say, I put a photo of Boebert in the theater seats on a YouTube thumbnail, and that video got demonetized because of Boebert. Okay? Right? So, dude, let's go. I mean, what a disaster. All right, let's see if we got anyone else here. All right, let's see if we got any quick Epstein update. I'm probably going to go edit some videos. We're doing a short one Friday night. We're in, we're out. We do want to get ahead of video-wise. Dude, oh my God. Dude, it's so funny. Bro, that is so funny, dude. Look at it. They have him like the mask on the dental wall, right? Isn't that a great meme? Trump is looking over there, dude, Lutnick. Oh my God, dude. This is so good, dude. So good, bro. That is amazing. What is this shit? Trumpet plants? Dude, what are trumpet plants? Dude, is this shit going crazy? Dude, there's so much shit in here that, like, dude, do we want to watch this? Let's see what this is. Dude, a lot of conspiracy theories going on here. Dude, look at this. Dude, what is this account? Don't let your kids wander in a shopping place. Don't reach and pull rags or tags off your door handles, right? There's a mind control drug. What is it? Scopolamine? Dude, all right, let's see what we got here.
Ask Chris about my trumpet plants at nursery. Hi, my name is Dr. 𝗙cie𝗶𝗆𝗆. I have my PhD in cellular and molecular nutrition. I'm also an herbalist. I'm a 13th generation Appalachian, and I was taught herbalism from a young age. And one of my kids actually was told to do a short, it was like in second grade, essay on one of the most interesting plants that they knew, and they did it on the trumpet plant because it's something that I always teach them not to smell in public. The trumpet plant is a plant that contains scopolamine, and while smelling it doesn't typically have enough to cause any major effects unless it's in one really particular stage of its growing season, they do get scopolamine out of it, and you can process the plant if you know what you're doing and if you're dumb enough to derive scopolamine from it or make a herbal product that will function like scopolamine does. Let me tell you what scopolamine does. It's the same thing in motion sickness patches, except motion sickness patches have very little in it, and it essentially turns people into zombies. They can't remember, they can't recall what has happened during this time period, and they become
so it's like a date grape drug,
very agreeable. You could ask them to do horrors unknown to your imagination, and they would smile and follow every single, command you gave them. People have been known, the cartels, I've heard, I don't know any cartel members, but I've heard that the cartels use it to get unwilling victims to pull money out of the ATM. They'll just have them smell a perfume or something in the streets, and it'll have scopolamine in it. And they'll direct them to go to the ATM and pull money out, and they will. You'll see them on camera pulling all of their own money out of the ATM and just smiling and handing it to this person. I don't know.
See, something tells me, though, that it's got to be, like, not quite that simple. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for sure, like, I'm buying this, but I don't think it just, like, oh my God, you touch a rag, you touch your face, and then boom, you are, yeah, dude, MAGA? Maybe that's what they're doing at Trump rallies, right? Scopolamine? Dude, they put it on all the fucking Trump merch. But it sounds like pretty messed up,
No, any other plants that are called trumpet plants that he would be interested in, honestly, because the only other plants that I know that are trumpet plants don't even have a medicinal use, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess growing trumpet plants and using those to make your own scopolamine would be an easier way to get around like DEA regulations. Which begs me to question, who taught him how to make it?
But now, like, I could totally see, you know, if Epstein's having these group parties, that might be something to, like, you know, to, like, whisk in. Or, you ready? If he was, like, blackmailing people, he has somebody to the island, and he gets a little scopolamine in him, and next thing you know, he's shooting a video of fucking, right? He's shooting a video of some shit going on that they're going to be agreeable to. Like, dude, maybe, yeah, it is some Diddy type shit, right? But here's my thing. You ready? You ready, guys? I'm not walking around living in fear of, like, touching a rag and getting scopolamine, okay? When I hear this stuff going on, these kinds of things, like when I was a kid, they used to do this shit when I was a kid. You know what they would do? They would tell us, like, they're putting razor blades in the Snickers on Halloween. Okay, there was all kinds of, like, and I was like, dude, I'm biting into my Snickers and I am taking a chance with the razor blade because I enjoy Halloween. I'm not gonna, like, hate Halloween and hate all my candy bars out of a fear that there's a razor blade in the candy bar. I'm eating the fucking candy bar. And I'm just not buying into this fear. And that's kind of what I do with this kind of shit too, with the scopolamine shit, where I'm like, I hear it, but I'm not living in fear of this. I'm gonna touch rags and sniff perfume in the streets, and I'm gonna take my fucking chances, bro. I mean, who sniffs perfume in the streets, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody comes up, hey, would you like to smell this perfume? I mean, if somebody walked up to me in the middle of the street and asked me to smell some perfume, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Get the fuck out of here. Now, if they do it, I'm going to be like, scopolamine, you scopolamine motherfucker, bro. Get out of here, bro. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not buying in, boss. Okay? I am not going to live in fear. I will not. But ladies, if you're out and some guy asks you to sniff his cologne or sniff anything else, you should say no. You should opt out. Okay? Ladies, do not sniff on a date. Okay? Sniff not, my ladies. All right? Seriously. That shit is a danger. You know what I'm saying? The danger shit. You drank Angel's Trumpet tea once. Plant was growing on the side of her house. One of the craziest trips you ever had, 𝗙ecie. All right, dude. Angel's Trumpet, dude. Are they like? There's like, dude. There's a movie where there were like trumpet pitches where the flowers outside somebody's grandma's house or something. There was a movie that talked about like trumpet pitchers. Yeah, no, being roofied has got to be terrible, man. And I'm serious, dude. That shit, like, you got to be careful with that. And I mean, speaking of roofies, can I just say, like, you know, there was something I saw the other day that we should look at. We should analyze. But it was a picture of. Let me find it. I have a reply. That's what it is. It's one of my replies. Oh, I think I reposted the reply. All right, you ready? Here it is. It is right here. Okay, look at this, guys. We should look at this because we gotta check this out, okay? Because once again, this is some propaganda coming to us straight from the always reliable Nick Sortor. All right. And this goes back to some of the shit we were talking about earlier when I talked about how, you know, young men who join fraternities and shit, how they're groomed into the right wing. Okay. They are like groomed into this right wing mentality, which is like mediocre men get the top job. All you got to do is protect the brotherhood. You got to not rat out the people above you, and they'll pull you up with them. And there's like this code, okay? But there's also a lot of like grape culture, and there's a lot of like incelery going on that is like not good, dude. And it is like a brain dead manosphere sort of culture. But like, look at this tweet. Okay, we're going to listen to these guys, but look at the tweet. Let's first deal with how outlandish this tweet is, because he says, epic. Gen Z Trump supporters have turned out in droves. Okay, let's remember this, guys. In droves for President Trump's speech in Rome, Georgia tonight. Rome, Georgia, by the way, that's where Marjorie Taylor Greene is from. Okay, she's from Rome. And there's still hours to go before 47 takes the stage. These guys didn't fall for the indoctrination at school, thankfully. And it's like, wait a second. First off, these guys absolutely fell for indoctrination. That's for starters. Number two, look at homie. He just got this hat, guys. This guy hasn't even taken the sticker off his hat yet. This guy's not even like a full MAGA. Like all of these guys literally were handed these hats like 5 minutes ago, maybe by the people recording this shit. And homie forgot to take the sticker off, which is why all the hats are like perfectly bright red. Like this thing is astroturfed. Okay. This thing is like nonsensical. Like, sure, they dressed up like this, but somebody gave them hats. Maybe they were arranged to dress like this to be on fucking RSBN. Right? But the droves, guys, it's fucking 7 dudes, okay? It is 7 guys at a rally. There are not droves. There's not a sea of these guys. This is more of the right-wing, like, BS misinformation, okay? They are probably in a fraternity in some shitty state school, guys, that has like a 97% acceptance rate. I guarantee you. Okay, they are a podunk fraternity, like the lowest performing national chapter at some shitty state school, dude, in the boons in Georgia. Okay, where you can get in with like a 1.98 GPA. All you have to do is if you can sign your name on the application, you get the acceptance, bro. Right? The only people who get refused are people that have a higher than a 4.0 GPA are the only people who get refused. But let's see what they have to say here. Right? They didn't fall for the indoctrination.
I mean, the one thing that I can get with the most is pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Trump, man. I mean, I think all this abortion and all that, what gender are you? I mean, that's just not right. I mean, God says in the Bible there's 2 genders. Am I right? Yeah. And I think that's what it should be. That's what it should be, to be honest with you.
Right. I feel like just he's so truthful and just my values, and I value that.
Right. Yeah, but so here's what's funny though, is like we have a bunch of dudes, we have a bunch of people without uteruses talking about like how abortion's bad, no abortion. But why don't they want abortion? So if they like get a girl knocked up, they own her. She has to marry him and shit. Dude, isn't that crazy? Dude, like let's hear this guy again.
I mean, the one thing that I can get with the most is pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Trump, man.
The one thing I can get with the most, hey, buddy, I hate to break it to you, homie, but those are 3 things. Pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Trump. That's 3 things. It's not one thing, boss. The one thing I can get with are these 3 things that I'm calling one thing, right? And like, holy hell, that accent. And the other guy's like, I just love it. I don't even know what I love about Trump. Like, I just love his honesty. He agrees with my values. My values are grabbing him by the pee and like having a 2-inch fucking wee-wee and like just not being good at nothing, but getting lots of money.
I mean, I think all this abortion and all that, what gender are you? I mean, that's just not right. I mean, God says in the Bible there's 2 genders. Am I right? Yeah. And I think that's what it should be.
You're right. Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's what it should be, to be honest with you.
Right. I feel like just he's so truthful and just my values, and I value that.
Right. He's so truthful and my values, and I value that. Like, oh, shit. Right? Oh, like, wow. Wow. Dude, isn't that funny? But look what I said. I was like, ladies, cover your fucking drinks. Dude, cover your drinks, ladies. But dude, my favorite thing is the guy with the sticker on his hat, dude. He forgot to take the sticker off his hat. Dude, so good. Oh my God. Dude, isn't that funny? This is MAGA, guys. This is MAGA. Dude, yeah, Tony says abortion. All this abortion and gender things. Isn't that crazy? Dude, but they turned out in droves, guys. Droves. Oh, man. Dude, sound off, right? You turn the sound on and you are going to, right? I know, dude. He's so truthful. He's so, my values, so truthful. Guy lied like 48,000 times, bro. The dingusocracy. Oh, man, dude. Isn't that funny? Bro. Like, dude. Oh, my God. They're all like, they're dressed like they're wearing the same tie. Yeah. Bible says 2 genders. Yeah. Get him, Cooter. Come on, Cooter. Dude. Dingus. There's a dingus among us. Oh my God, dude. Isn't that amazing? Oh, bro. All right, guys. So this, though, can I just tell you, this is part of the reason why I don't fear fascism actually being achieved by these guys. Because let me just tell you, these guys are not a formidable enemy, okay? They are not, okay? These guys are not a formidable opponent. This is an easy opponent. If there were, if we had a civil war against this, like, easy victory, okay? Easy victory against this stuff, dude. Man. Oh, dude. Oh. It's funny. Crazy. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? Dude. Someone kicked his sister in the chin. Dude, that's cold, bro. Oh my God, that's cold. Dude. Oh shit. All right, you ready? It's time, baby. It's time for me to go make some videos, boss. Dude, early night. I'm going to go make some vids. Dude, he does have a little bit of a mullet going. Dude, not a formidable opponent. Dude, hide your kids. Oh man, dude. Dude, it is just so crazy that like, you know what I'm saying? Dude, I will never understand, bro. Oh, there's a shot of the guys at the fraternity. Dude, the fraternity clip. Oh man, I haven't watched that clip. I read a description of it, but I imagine it's pretty crazy. Isn't that funny though, how we start on my story about fraternities and then we end up here? Although my fraternity was not like this, right? Like, dude, everybody, all my fraternity brothers are lawyers and doctors and shit now, right? For the most part, they're all in brain requiring careers. I mean, dude, we definitely like to party and we were idiots, but we weren't fucking brain dead. These guys definitely open the blinds. Okay. These guys are blinds openers for sure. Dude, why did they all look alike? I mean, yeah, man, I don't know, dude. Conformity, I guess. I mean, they kind of do though. They all look like the same fucking person, really, don't they? It is weird how they facially, they even look alike, right? They all look like maybe they're related, right? I mean, it could be cousin brothers, sister, brother husbands, right? I mean, right? Anything's possible. It is very TPUSA. Very TPUSA, guys. Right? And they're big fans of Charlie Kirk, and they're big fans of Sean Strickland, and they're probably big fans of Logan Paul, right? I bet they're big fans of Aiden Ross, and I bet they all pay a monthly fee to some chatbot service. 100%. They are probably like have a signal chat where they share the best chat bots to go around. All right. That's what it is, baby. Oh, I forgot. Almost forgot. Andrew Tate, dude. Andrew Tate. Yes, but you know what though, guys? They don't have an individual war room membership. They all share a war room password. But they're too scared to like say anything in the space. They just like share information with each other. They share a password for Tate's war room. They don't speak in the Discord. Dude, let's go. That's it. This is New York City, yes. Yeah, it's New York City is a place that I've loved for 20 some years. All right, if there's some links to my music down in the live videos description, and there's an album on there, Let Go Afterglow, and I went to New York for the first time while I was recording that record in 2003, and I had an adventure. I was there during the blackout, and so the first time I saw Times Square, there were no lights on. Okay, so I saw New York first for like 2 days, and then there was a blackout. And then as the power came back on, I stayed for like a week and had my first experience exploring New York City. This was back in 2003 when I was making Let Go Afterglow. And I fell in love with the city. And then later, I knew some girls that had an apartment in the East Village. And so when I went on tour, I would stay in the East Village with them for a couple of days every time I was on tour. So I've had a sort of a romantic love affair with New York, but I never have gotten to live there yet. But my 20-year-old son just moved there like a couple months ago, back in October. Him and his girlfriend moved there. So they are living in New York right now as we speak. They're living my dream, but he's having a funky adventure as we speak. Dude, I like it. Dude, it's pretty cool, man. New York. I mean, it is like, it's intense. It is like, there's just a lot of people, a lot of cultures, a lot of languages, a lot of religions, a lot of like different, income disparities, all crammed in on huge streets with huge buildings piled up with trash bags, and there's rats right out there hanging out with you. I mean, it is like the melting pot of melting pots, where you can go to many neighborhoods. I think as a white person too, it's one of the few metropolitan areas where as a white person you can go and find a lot of neighborhoods where you're like the minority there as a white person. There's not a lot of cities that have so many different neighborhoods that are like that, where a white person can go and be a minority in the neighborhood, right? There's pockets of it, certainly, but the thing about it is in a lot of other cities, it's like you might have a area with a high black population where a white guy can go and he'll be a minority. But in New York, there's like 30 neighborhoods. You can go to a Puerto Rican neighborhood or a black neighborhood or like a crazy like Hasidic Jewish neighborhood or like Dominican neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many neighborhoods that are like all next to another that are filled with like different cultures, Haitians and like, I don't know, it's crazy. It is like really spectacular how you could walk for a mile and you could go through like 6 or 7 different cultural adventures in there. And as a white person, you're like, you don't fit into any of them, which is really unusual for America. There's not a lot of America that's like that, where it's that dense. I mean, if you go to cities, certainly you go to a lot of big cities, they have different cultural neighborhoods, but in New York, it's all packed. You can walk like 1 mile and just be, you know, go through, I don't know, dude, it's like an Epcot Center, but like real human beings, you know, and the food is amazing, dude. It's amazing, right? You've wondered how introverts deal with living in New York City? My guess is noise canceling headphones. That would be my guess. Right? Dude, I don't know how an introvert would like, they'd fucking, you know, they'd hide in, right? Very small apartments. Very small apartments. I mean, it's a certain type of living. And especially if you're not rich, like it's very different if you have money, okay? If you have money, New York is very different, right? It's, you know, it's a very different experience. But I don't know, I'm a little jealous that Bryce is experiencing it. But that's the time to do it, though. If you're going to move there when you're 20, 21, that's the time to go, right? When you can live in a tiny space and you're just kind of like adventuring. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now, like just sort of letting him adventure and you know, sort of treating his experience in New York like he's in, you know, like he's in college, right? I'm kind of treating it like he's going to college. He's going to the College of New York City, right? But so voila. A lot of food overrated. All right, let's go. Let's go, baby. Dude, I still want to live there, though. I would love to live there, but it's pretty expensive. Very generous. I hope he appreciates it. He does. He does. He appreciates it. Definitely. All right. You guys ready? Dude, let's go, baby. You want to visit it? You should visit it. I think everybody, if you get a chance, guys, you should visit it. It's worth a visit. It's unique. And it's very different than the West Coast. Okay? The West Coast, like San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles, like we have some great, amazing big cities on the West Coast, but they are very different. New York has a much more of like a European influence, whereas the West Coast has a much more of an Asian influence, which I guess makes sense because of the proximity, right? You know, when people would just sort of directly come across. But New York, man, is just like everything. If you aren't in the U.S., do not visit the U.S. Yeah. Well, when Trump's done, when Trump's in the pine box, then come, right? All right, dude, it's time to dance. Dude, San Francisco's way better. I don't know about that. San Francisco's way different, right? San Francisco's way different. Oh, shit. Dude, San Francisco is great. It's very different, though. Very, very different, right? San Francisco is like, yeah, super, super different. It's super cool, super unique, right? San Francisco, I mean, they're like, the thing that's really intriguing about San Francisco is it being built on a hill, right? It's like, it's like very up and down, and New York is like very like long and skinny, sort of is what New York reminds me of. New York is very flat, right? And you know, but San Francisco is very like up and down, kind of Seattle-ish, but very different than Seattle, right? Philly used to be cool. Is it a disaster? I loved Philly, right? I fucking, like, when I was there, I mean, I haven't been to Philly in like 20 years, but 20 years ago, man, Philly was amazing. It was, I had really good times in Philly. Live in Burnout Hill over the Mission. Let's go, dude. Love it, dude. Dude, I had some adventures in the mission, right? My San Francisco thing once, I had never been there. And so one day I just took a bus. I knew a girl. I had met a girl named Fiona, and I knew a coffee shop in the Haight-Ashbury district that she hung out at. And so one day I just took a bus to San Francisco. I made no arrangements. I was in my, early 20s, like 23 or something. So I took a bus to San Francisco. I got off at the bus station downtown and just wandered around until I found a place to stay. I eventually talked to people at coffee shops, and they told me about a hostel called the European Guest House that didn't require a passport. Like most hostels required a passport, but this place, you could get it with a driver's license. And then I went and I did a coffee shop adventure. I went to the Horseshoe Cafe where she had hung out, and I looked for Fiona and tried to find her, and to no avail. And then I wandered around the city for like 4 days, and then I went back to Los Angeles. But it was a pretty crazy, like, having never been there, it was pretty wild. This was in the early 90s, right? So it's probably around 92, somewhere around there, right? 92, 93. But it was like the first thing that struck me was the homeless population at the time was very, chatty and very like, they would like negotiate with you. They would like follow you down the road for like 45 minutes trying to negotiate some type of payment out of you, right? And I remember, dude, I went into this Burger King, like when I had been in San Francisco for like, 15 minutes, okay? And I got off the bus and I went into a Burger King to use the bathroom. And while I was standing at the urinal, like a syringe came flying out from under the urinal, and a little hand out from under the fucking, the toilet, the stall, and a hand like poked out, like trying to find the syringe. And so I like kicked it over to him so the guy could get high. And he like came out with like, he had a cane, and like, he was just crazy, dude. Oh man, that was like my first sort of, I had been in San Francisco for like 10 minutes, and that was the adventure I had, dude. And I was like, you good? And he's like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm like, homie, how do I get to Haight-Ashbury? He's like, all right, let me tell you. Here's what you're going to do. It's funny. I mean, dude, I can just, I can roll. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can roll, dude. I'm like, I'm not afraid of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just, no, my experiment was in LA, right? My experimental experience with the man was in LA. That was actually, I went to the grocery store. That's when that happened, right? I took a trip to the grocery store, met a guy at the bus stop, right? And went and partied. Voila. Dude, let's go. Oh, shit. Dude, you gotta love it, right? I mean, guys, the thing about this, though, is like, I just think that, like, all the cities have that shit, right? All the cities have that stuff, guys. They do, you know what I'm saying? And no, I did not find Fiona. I didn't. I tried. So what happened with Fiona was this, okay? So at the time, guys, I was like, not in a, like, at the time I was like not having a good, like, I was in a phase where smoking weed was not a pleasant experience for me. Okay. And there was a time when I was like 18 where smoking pot was really good. But then after a while, it just made me self-conscious and I stopped using it. So what happened with Fiona is I went to the Horseshoe Cafe and I hung out and mentioned that I knew this girl and I wanted to, like, I was up from LA to visit her and whatnot. And so what happened was there was a guy hanging out there who was like, let's go fucking have a smoke or whatever. And then I think when we went out and he wanted me to get high with him and I wouldn't smoke with him, he like the tone changed. So I think at that point he thought I was like up to something, or I was a cop or some kind of shit. And so like what ended up happening is at that point, nobody wanted to sort of help me find Fiona after that, which I get it. You know, I mean, nobody knew who I was. I was going into a very, like, everybody knew each other there, sort of like a neighborhood. It was like, I mean, it was over by, you know, she lived somewhere on the park blocks, right? The ones with the, can't remember what fucking street it is, but there's like the ones with the medians. There's like these big medians that were like a big deal back in the 60s. But yeah, I never found her, you know, but I didn't know her that well. I had met her one day at UCLA, like in one of the fucking coffee shops or whatever. I had talked to her for, I don't know, 20 minutes, right? Like a year before. And she mentioned where she hung out and where she lived. And so I went to San Francisco, like trying to find her. You know, it was one of those, like, it was just, you know, it was a weird adventure. But I did not find her, but I did have a really great introduction to San Francisco. It was a pretty neat way to sort of experience the city, having never been there, just, you know, wandering around and letting the locals sort of point you, right? And I mean, guys, this is really interesting because this may be a future thing here, because I don't know how long I will do politics. Like, I tend to switch things up. You know, I may do this like 5 years, 7 years, but I think maybe one of the things I've been kicking around is eventually, if I slow down on the politics, I might do like a travel channel, but a different kind of travel channel, where I might start a YouTube where I go and like get an Airbnb for like a month in Paris. And then we go and experience Paris. And I'm really good at like meeting people, and I'm really good at going in to local environments and just getting to know people. Like, I don't know, I have a type of personality that I can go in and sort of explore people wise. And so I've thought about a channel where instead of doing the touristy thing, you go and just meet people and go travel and meet locals and let the locals sort of share their story and the story of their fucking town, and then experiencing like your culture, immersing with them. And right, I think that would be really interesting on a people level, and not so much like a touristy level, like those normal travel people. Oh, hey, I'm an American traveling. More like, no, let's go find out what the people are like. You know what I mean? And you know, I think that would be really interesting, and it would allow me to travel a little bit, and me and Jenny to go out and explore some of the world. And I think so that's something that may be coming down the pike eventually, right? I've already started, you know, I've already thrown some darts out about like that, or maybe running for office. We're going to see what the universe sort of throws in there, right? But yeah, we'll see. I think it would be really interesting though. I think I have something to offer in that, you know, I have something to offer in that sort of thing. And then I kind of got the idea a little bit, like a friend of mine, a filmmaker friend of mine, him and his wife they did that. They went to Paris for 2 years, 2 months. Sorry. They went to Paris for 2 months in like November and December. They just got an Airbnb and just lived in Paris for 2 months. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty fucking, I don't know. It's pretty cool, I think. All right. You ready? It's time to dance though. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Dude, yeah. I think the key is getting out of the touristy shit and letting the locals like guide your adventure. And that's one of the things that I think, like when I toured the country as the Wanteds, I toured alone, right? And so as a one-man person, you have a different band experience, because a lot of times people are like suspicious of bands, right? But when you're one guy touring the country, people like take you into their homes. Okay, because they're not worried about like having a whole crazy band or whatever. So when I toured, a lot of people like took me in and would sort of like I don't know, share their experience of living. Like I got to sort of feel the vibes a lot more than because I've toured with bands too, and it's different when you're in a band. But when I was touring alone, I had a lot more of a, like, people let you in sort of a different way. And it was really neat. I really enjoyed that. Like, that was my favorite thing about touring, was being able to experience like people's humanity in that have completely different lives than you. You know what I'm saying? And you go in and you sort of interrupt their life for a moment, and they like sort of like share you get a moment of them, and they're in different states of being. Like, you may find somebody who just got a divorce, or somebody who just lost their job, or somebody who just found a job they've always wanted, or right? You're hitting them in a particular moment in time in their life. And there is like, I don't know, man, there's like an energy exchange that happens that is really sort of fantastic. I think connecting with humanity. And like, this is one of the things that, I guess the last thing I'll say is one of the things that I am most sad about with like the Donald Trump experience and the MAGA is I feel like we've actually we've all closed off some of our humanity, you know, and we've had to, because of the bigotry and the racism and the transphobia and the violence. But like, it breaks my heart a little bit. And like, so when MAGA is done and when Trump is in a pine box, like, I want to go back and get into the pool of humanity. And I want to try and do some healing in that realm. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I have something to offer there, to go in and like rediscover people's humanity and start like repairing some of that damage, because it is like really damaged now to where we're shut off and we don't, like, you know. And so I would like to try to fix that shit, you know what I'm saying? I would, right? That's what I think, a real human centric, you know, a real like a healing mission, you know what I'm saying? And you know, we'll see if the universe presents it, dude. We're gonna fucking do it, dude. Let's go. Oh shit, he hitchhiked. Let's go. Dude, way to go, man. I love that shit, bro. But all right, you ready? It's dance party, guys. Dude, I hope you guys don't mind. I know we're like anti-MAGA and I'm the biggest MAGA hater out there, but I am aware, even with my MAGA hating, that I am like, you know, I am brokenhearted by what this rise to MAGA and all this bigotry has done to us. I don't like it. And yeah, I'm a cusp of Libra and Scorpio, right? But so yeah, I don't like it. I like humanity. There is a lot of good in this world, but we're gonna have to relearn how to like let people in that like are different. We're gonna have to heal the hate, man. You know? All right, let's get it. So yeah, I'd like to do that. I think Jenny would be really good at that too, dude. She's really good at like connection and healing, right? She is. She's amazing at it. Oh, all right. So dude, with my schmoozing skills and her gift of perception and fucking communication, I feel like we'd make a great team at fucking, you know, like getting in there, right? We'll see. Let's go. Oh. Dude, thank you guys for all the support. Dude, let's go, Caper. I appreciate you, boss. Dude, I love the Canadians. Oh, shit. Oh, you ready? You ready to dance? We got a little deja vu incoming. You needed this tonight? Good. Good, good. All right, all right. Let's go. I'm dancing. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I think, guys, tomorrow afternoon, there is a pretty good chance I'm going to be streaming some Fortnite on the Twitch channel. I've been wanting to do that since we hit a 500 viewer average. It was like me to get back into the gaming community a little bit because they need some of that energy. Now, just so you know, when I do it, I don't really talk a lot of politics. I just more talk like life shit and goofy game stuff. And so there's also like toxicity in the chat, but I will ping it when I do it in Discord if anybody wants to stop by, right? It is a very different experience than the political streams. But I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow, probably in the afternoon, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm gonna crank out a couple videos tonight. That's why we're leaving early. That's gonna be happening every Friday night. It's gonna be a short stream from here on out, and I'm gonna stream a little bit on Saturday afternoon, a little bit of Fortnite. All right, because you know it is a very red-pilled environment. So just having my energy in there, I think, is good for the fucking, you know, that community. Get back in there and keep my fucking Fortnite skills. And I will say this too. You ready? I don't tell a lot of people this, but what I did was I basically, because I haven't gamed and I knew I wasn't going to be gaming and I just was editing. Like all I do is edit. So what I did was I switched my editing keybinds to gaming keys. So I've been editing with the WASD. Like I switched everything. I switched all of the Premiere Pro keybinds. So I operate like I did playing Fortnite. I have everything bound to keys I used on Fortnite. So I still use all those motions. Like, and it's crazy because it allows me to go back and like I have all those key presses still in my hand because I still use them every day. Isn't that funny? Like, it's pretty wild, but I did that on purpose so I would stay sort of in touch with my Fortnite playing. Dude, I love it. Dude, our brains are so easy to sort of manipulate. You know what I mean? It's kind of fun when you think about it. Like our brains are amazing. Like they're amazing to program when you're doing it with intention. You know, I mean, that's really, I think it is something. If you talk to a lot of people who are into, you know, like meditation or healing, you'll hear the word intention a lot. And I think, you know, especially in times of like, you know, dealing with Trump and all this other shit, I think intention is like really important, you know, thinking about like the why of what we're doing and sort of living with a purpose, even in some of our simplest tasks, even in the things, you know, whether you're like trying to eradicate a bad habit or you're trying to get rid of some useless belief system that you don't want to carry on anymore. I think there's something really like wonderful to be said about like living with intention and applying that in like in all kinds of areas, you know, of our lives, right? So a little fucking spiritual thought to end on while we fucking dance. You ready? You ready? All right, let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's fucking go. All right. Love you guys. Thank you again for helping me fucking survive this fucking politicking. It is like, dude, this Trump shit fucking kills me a little bit every day, but it's nice to hang out with you guys and stay sane. okay? I appreciate you all for helping me stay sane during this difficult time, because the first admin, I got very depressed. And in fact, that's how I got addicted to video games and how I became a gaming streamer. So it did work out. I'm not going to complain. But dude, I got very depressed in the first Trump admin. And I'm not like experiencing that this time around, dude. It's different. Like, I'm feeling like way less depressed than I did. I mean, sometimes I get on Twitter and I'm like, holy fuck, bro. Kill me now. But you know. All right, you ready? Let's go, baby. Thank you, guys. Let's get into it. It's time. It's time. Oh! Okay, thank you very much tonight. Good night. Good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow, baby. Take care of yourselves. Look in Discord for the Fortnite announcement. Have a great night. Thank you.